Hello, welcome to Live at the Party. This is Nyxrising Industries. I'm JD, your DM. Let's get started. Our story is set in the land known as Caldera, a wide-reaching, diverse expanse of mountains, jungles and forests, lake formations and plains. To the south, the mighty jungles of the Sivray and the Rydkan teem with life and activity, while in the north, the frozen shoreline known as the Glittering Coast stretches as far as an elf eye can see. The landscape between is vast and varied, with an expansive set of lakes called the Shaste, taking up much of the land in the southeast, feeding the country with a multitude of rivers and watercourses. In the mid-north, huge crests of mountain ranges tower over the forests and plains, most prominent being the Needles, the Ashcrest and the Chimera Mountains. To the west, the swamps of the salt marshes and the jagged black cliffs of the Slaver's Ridge look out to a seemingly unending sea. Off the eastern shore of the mainland, the islands of Arrakis, Kasan and Starstone are the last points of call on a long journey across the ocean to the continent of Ospeia. Whilst our story is starting out in Caldera, that's not to say it won't end up across the seas and other lands. Scattered across these lands are a multitude of independent city-states, each governing and ruling themselves in their own provinces. The remnants of shattered empires and dead dynasties exist in lore and legends only, their influence not felt for hundreds of years. Each city-state has a unique culture and way of life, ranging from the militaristic, regimented city of Shadeborn, tucked deep in the mountains, and the stunning palaces and coastal gardens of Mirrortail, to the marvel of Sandscruff, floating entirely on docks, and the elaborate mosaic towers of Arrakis. Governance varies from city to city, with Riven governed by a council of 12, whilst Fang is ruled with an iron fist. My long family line. A spectrum of races, lineages and species coexist in these cities, and many in the forests and fields between them. Humanity is by no means a majority, but is one of the commoner races. Halflings, gnomes, dwarves and elves are as average a sight as humans, and races such as the orcs, tieflings, dragonborn, lizardfolk and even Ganassi are not uncommon. Communities of half-elves, half-orcs, half-dragons, half-dwarf are often found, as bloodlines and individuals mix over the centuries, creating unique new peoples, families and cultures. The influence of the gods is felt in Caldera, although it's extremely rare that they exert this influence in any way more than the blessing of a zealous priest or favourable winds on a sailor's long journey. The divine Pantheon reside outside of the mortal plane, watching over their creation with a close eye. Devout believers say that Melora can be encountered as she wanders the woods and fields of the mortal plane, or that Moradin can be heard breathing fire into his volcanic forge. But very few people garner attention enough to draw the eyes of the gods personally, let alone encounter them. And now for our party. A few members of our party have met each other in pairs and trios, but as a whole have yet to come face to face with each other fully. Our adventure started very recently in Farrelstadt, the coastal city on the Bay of Blades, with an active navy who defend against marauding pirates. Renard the mercenary, Astra the musician, the farmer Boblum, and the researcher Elise were in the right place at the right time to get caught up in a pirate crew's planned raid on the city's black powder reserve, a rare, dangerous and valuable resource. The four encountered a young sailor attempting to warn the guard of the pirates' plans, and brought him to safety, fighting off cutthroat pirates in the streets and on bridges over the river. These adventurers joined forces with the city wardens to defeat the pirate marauders, taking it on themselves to strike down the crew's spellcaster, who was summoning a storm over the city to aid their assault. After this ordeal, Elise conducted her own research privately, while the rest of the group met Sariel and Cassian, the wealthy merchant with flair and disdain aplenty. Together, these individuals took on some odd jobs before travelling to Mirrortail, the neighbouring city on the bay, whilst Elise made her way up separately. Together, Elise, Renard and Astra procured a contract from the Cartographers Guild to map out the flooded hills and swamps south of Sandscrum, whilst the other three attended to their own business for the time being. Elise, Renard and Astra managed to embroil themselves in the business of a local merchant lord, confronting him on how harshly he treated a captured reptilian creature as a mount, eventually breaking into his estate in the dead of night to free the chained and beaten beast. And that is where you join us now, in the streets of Mirrortail at night, a mighty creature set free, and a trio of adventurers making a hasty exit from the scene.
Yay! Can I just say, I love that you blame the others as well. They all decided to go after this guy.
Yeah. We see you, Astra.
No, it was a group effort, guys.
Adventurers, you stand outside the house of Lord Arangi Como after having just released a black guard drake from his stables where it was chained, tied up and beaten. His guards alerted, some of them dead. You stand in the middle of the city road. Lights are flickering on. People are coming out of their houses. It's the dead of night, and the beast has vanished into the shadows.
Cool.
A few of you hurt, wounded.
Oh man, so hurt.
If I recall, in trying to free the beast, you touched a tender spot where the hook had pierced its mouth, and it snapped down on you and took.
It didn't take my arm.
No, but it took a sizable chunk. It took a sizable chunk, and those of you who fought the guards may have suffered some injuries as well.
I took 1 point of damage.
Just one.
You're looking down a long, sort of flagstone paved street. There are rather elaborate and fancy estates on both sides of the street. And while it is the dead of night, there is a commotion from around the other side of the house that you were, where the guards were summoned and have been moving. You see lights turning on in the Rangi Kombo's estate. On the other side of the road, you see one or two flicker into existence as well. What are you doing?
Okay. Well,
Seems like people are waking up now.
I'll grab you both by the arms and I'll be like, I can disguise or make invisible 2 of us of the 3.
Why do we need to get disguises?
do you have any idea the impact of what we've just done?
Yes, we saved an animal.
We can talk about it later.
Yes,
I'm saying
with the
let's
let's get out
start
of here.
moving. You're the most visually recognizable of the 3 of us, so I will cast disguise self on myself and then invisibility on you, and I'll make myself just look like a random street person. I'm sorry, Renard.
Okay.
Am I
just-
invisible now?
You're invisible.
Okay, well.
So I will make myself look like sort of a regular person who would be around this area.
Okay.
And I will grab Renard by the arm like we're a couple and just power walk down the road like we're trying to escape from the
And
commotion.
this looks very strange because you, looking like a regular townsfolk person, and Renard coming in about 6 foot in his long black double-breasted leather coat, mask, hood up, scarf over his mouth, and bloody sword at his side.
It's fine, hide it under the cloak, it's fine.
I'll just tuck it under the coat.
So you're on the main road. Are you going past the estate, or are you going back the other way?
I don't think it's a good idea if we walk past Como again.
No, I don't think so either. I think we should just go as far away as we can
Let's
and
just
then
go in
sort
the
this
opposite,
out. Yeah,
opposite
in the
direction
opposite
to the
direction.
Drake.
Yeah.
Okay, as quickly as we can. Let's
Yep.
move.
Okay. You start making your way off the other way, so going north, back up into the city. Okay. You get about 10 meters before you hear a door slam open behind you. Do you look not directly behind you, but back in the direction of the estate?
Oh, I look.
Okay. You see.
I'm invisible.
Make a perception check actually, because it's quite dark.
First roll.
Thanks,
Oh,
Elise.
please unlock.
Anytime.
11.
11. Okay. You see one figure, flanked by 2 more, but you can't make out any details. A voice cuts through the night. Find it! Where has it gone? Find them!
Walking faster.
You see one figure staying in the door, and 2 others. One disappears into the night off the other way, and one starts moving down the road in your direction. It looks like they're sort of zigzagging across the road.
This would be a good time for us to duck behind a wall or something, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Is there somewhere for us to?
There's plenty of low walls, sort of objects. And
Are these garden walls into the houses that we weren't?
Yes.
breaking
So they're low walls that are like 4 feet high.
Time to break into another house.
Well, the garden extends there's like a front garden in front of pretty much each estate, and beyond that there's space before getting to the actual house. So far where you're at, no lights have come on in the houses that you're moving past.
Okay. Unlinking my arm from yours, I'm going to hop over one of the small walls
Okay.
and just duck
Vault
down on the
over.
other side and be hidden.
Okay.
I'll probably follow him anyway.
Okay. Are you doing the same?
Where are you going? Oh, we're hiding. Right. I'm invisible.
Yeah, you're invisible.
We can
but
still hear you.
Are you going as well? Okay, so if all of you make a stealth check.
Oh, of course.
I make her hair fly. Keep doing it.
20.
18.
21.
Okay. You duck down behind the wall. You watch as the guard, 15 feet away, 10 feet away. As he gets closer to you, he looks over in your direction, but it's dark enough that you can barely see his features. He seems to just look right past you. He moves over onto the other side. You see him poke his spear into a bush. He just keeps moving on.
He doesn't seem very nice.
You wait 30 seconds, a minute. He doesn't seem to have come back.
Can we see a way out of this area instead of just walking
Without
back over
going
the wall?
into the street.
Yeah, so carrying on this street, like not more than sort of like 20 feet down, there's another road which bisects this, which would go into the centre of the town.
Fantastic. I stand up and
Mhm.
head that way without consulting the others.
Yeah, no, I was going to do that anyway.
Okay. You crawl out of the...
I
from
noticed
behind
after
the
they've
fence.
already left, I'm like, watching him. Oh.
He disappeared into the night. You got the impression he carried on going down the road, but can't be certain. Okay.
Oh yeah, we're going this way now. Okay.
Okay. You find yourself on a separate street, still sort of residential area. There are classically like whitewashed walls with heavy black oak beams. You can only see sort of like in shades of grey and silhouettes at the moment. There are no lights. There's starlight is illuminating most of the city, but you can't see too far ahead of you. But generally, the streets are almost deserted. You see the occasional person leaning up drunk against the wall, or trying to stumble their way into their house, but
Right.
I think the best thing for us to do at this point would be to find the others and get out of Mirrortail.
Yeah, probably.
I
well,
don't imagine that
Baldwin
he
and
will be
Elise went
ours.
into the water. I'm not sure we
I'm
can follow
Elise.
them. You're Elise, sorry. Baldwin and Sariel went into the water. I'm not sure we can actually follow them or find them. Can you turn into an octopus?
No, I can't turn into an octopus.
Me neither. I know, I kind of wish I could. Yeah, right? Seems really cool. Where should we go?
Anyway, we need to
Find a local tavern, or
Yeah.
we find
just somewhere where we can
I'd
lay
like-
low
I
till
would like
tomorrow.
to sleep. I'm rather hurt.
Yeah, me too.
tavern. it is.
My arm is just covered in
Yeah,
blood
same.
from where the guard draped bit me,
Both
and it's
of
just
my
like
arms.
Yeah.
slowly dripping.
Being
Oh,
somewhat
invisible.
familiar with the layout
How
of
am I
this
invisible for?
An hour.
Yeah.
city, is there somewhere I know that we
Unless
could
I-
find a place to stay?
Uh,
Like a tavern that...
you know plenty of taverns
Okay.
around. Are you looking for one in the area that you're in, or are you going closer towards like the docks and the port?
Considering how injured my friends are, I think we'll... I said that out of character. Find the closest one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But somewhere where we can kind of lay low and not be too.
Perhaps a slightly more expensive one,
Uh-huh.
because
Well, the
personally,
area
I
that you're
don't
in
feel
is
they'll be
the area
looking
that you're
for-
in is pretty reputable.
yeah,
There aren't any sort of like halfway houses or places where like the dock workers come in en masse.
great.
There are like fancier places for those like wealthy merchants passing through the city.
In which case, I would like to lead them to a decently priced
Okay.
place to stay.
Okay.
um,
Okay.
And turn to you both and, well, sort of turn to you and kind of scan the invisible area for where the tiefling might be.
It's fine, you can find it. Because, yeah.
I'm going to go in and secure us a room while you two just wait.
Mhm.
Okay.
And maybe keep yourselves out of sight with the...
I'm very out of sight right now.
And I go inside.
Okay. So the first place you come across is the Moon and Stars. It's not
Okay.
one you've been in before. You push open the door, and looking inside, it is softly illuminated. You don't see any patrons about. It's very late at night, but there is one person who has his back to you. Look, be male figure. You see, like sort of like done up in a bun, like black hair going down just beyond his shoulders. As you push open the door, he opens and, oh, we weren't expecting visitors so late. And he sort of whistles to something in the corner. You see a dog come out from behind the bar and just sort of start sniffing about. And are you looking for rooms?
Yes, I am. There's three of us. We'd like a room as quickly as possible, just for the three of us.
He sort of looks you up and down. Wait, sorry, how many did you say?
3.
Okay. Did you?
I'm invisible.
They
We're
haven't come in.
outside.
They're
Oh, I
outside.
see.
I've come in on my own.
Okay. He seems a little bemused by this, but then it sort of twigs for him. And,
What twigs for him?
that you might have friends outside. Okay. He says, yeah. I mean, it's late, but we got places. It'll be 2 gold each.
No problem. I
Yeah.
pass him 6 gold.
Takes it over, and there'll be breakfast in the morning when you're ready.
Fantastic.
You're given 3 keys, and you're shown up to like the gantry level where there are 3 rooms. They're not bare. They've got sort of your core essentials, but they're nothing to like. It's not a 5-star.
Okay.
For example.
I believe.
Have we followed you in now?
No, you guys are outside. Is there a window to the street?
Yes, there would be. Yeah, these 3 all overlook to the street.
In which case, I'm
Basically
going
through
to
the street.
open the window and whistle, which I can't do, but
I can't either, it's fine. I will drop Astra's invisibility then, because he knows there's 3 of them.
What are we doing?
You're not invisible anymore, we're going inside.
and
We're staying here.
Right.
Okay.
I just thought we were having a whistling contest.
what stage
Just
are you two in?
Lots of blood.
Lots of blood.
I dropped my rope out the window. I thought so.
This guy's
Is that
going to be
not-
very confused that we're not going through the door.
Yeah.
The rope.
No, maybe we should. I'm kidding.
Just climb the rope.
Okay, come on,
Oh,
you go
jeez.
first.
Okay. Oh,
You can't.
Also,
go
we
okay.
both just
You
nearly
know
had
my
our
arms
arms
are
bitten
like-
off.
Just tie the rope around yourselves.
Make an athletics check.
I'm going to go through the door. I'm
Yeah,
not.
no, that's fine. You push open and you see the human man is sort of mid-50s, like long black hair, who's just sort of just seems to be just packing things up away into the cupboard at the moment.
Hello.
Sort of, oh,
I'm Verdant Astra. It's nice to meet you. My friends just booked rooms.
fantastic. I'm Huck. I own the place.
That's amazing.
He sort of eyes just up and down at the spectacle that is this teal tiefling with mother of pearl inlaid horns in front of him, and he seems to be a little not intimidated, but a bit of amused in person, testing the waters.
I'm also covered in blood.
Oh heaven! Oh, so many above. Can I help you? He starts sort of like rummaging about and tries to like get
As
like,
this
a
is
bowl of
happening, I'm
water.
going to quickly run back down the stairs to the tavern to catch up with Astra.
He pulls out like a rag and just really dips it in and come.
Thank you.
He sort of just tries to like clean some of the dried blood off you, and is just very tentative, very tender, and doesn't really know what to do, but thinks this is probably the best course of action.
Appreciate it.
I'll walk in after Astra. I've dropped my disguise now, but I'll have my hood up, and I'm also bleeding. I'll walk in and say, "Oh my god, those dogs were vicious! Like, oh, we really thought we could take on those wild dogs, didn't we, Astra? We
Seeing
were
as
wrong."
you, seeing
Make
as you
a-
both drop your
make a
description, you want to
deception
describe
check.
yourselves as well.
Yes.
At least make a deception check.
That's a 1.
It's natural one.
He sort of stops what he's doing, looks up, and he's like, "What dog?
I don't know.
You don't mean Sat? I haven't heard."
Outside the city, we just got here.
Right. Or,
If it's
you
all right,
must be the friends, and looks up at you.
Yeah.
I'll take them upstairs.
Takes the rag off and squeezes it, and I'll be closing up and
No worries.
make yourself.
Thank you.
Probably best.
So yeah, we should describe ourselves now as well.
Okay.
Would you like to go first, my dear?
Ooh, okay. So,
He sort of ushers you upstairs as well.
Oh,
He's
yes.
yeah.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Give him
Good
another,
night.
a silver piece for his trouble there.
Can I pet
Appreciate
your
it.
dog?
No,
Okay.
it's not a good idea if you say that. Some people just don't get on with dogs, you know, and that's okay.
I get on with dogs.
They were wild dogs!
At least just upstairs, please.
He just turns back and seems to go like behind the
Oh,
bar.
Sorry.
For the
I
best,
like
she'll
to pet
stroke you
the
too.
dog
Don't worry.
I like dogs.
Right.
Alright. So we'll just head up to our rooms, I guess, then. And
But yeah, you can
so-
still describe yourselves.
Yeah, so when Elise drops her disguise, you see 5'10", human in appearance, sorcerer with electric blue hair and blue eyes, wearing clothes that sort of, they're like quite colourful and look like they were once maybe quite nice and fancy. There's a lot of like reds and gold
Yeah.
tones in there, but sort of mixed in with more like practical things like combat boot type things and like shielding and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Fancy combat boots.
Yeah, fantasy combat boots, my favourite. And yeah, so they look like they were once maybe like kind of fancy, kind of nice, but are very like worn down and
Mhm.
like worn down over time, but also have like recent sort of tears and stuff in them.
Yeah,
And there's also what looks like a freshly healed scar running down the left side of her face through like her eyebrow misses her eye and then curves down her cheek. Yeah.
She is.
Also covered in blood.
Yeah, also, yeah, big bite mark right there.
Somehow makes it hotter.
Yeah, right. You're very right. Astra is a 6'2" male tiefling with pale teal skin. He is a tealfling. He's got long green hair, which is filled with braids and just very decorative, pulled back away from his face. Black horns curling away from his face with mother of pearl inlaid at the tips for about 3 inches, I think you said.
Yeah.
And then the very simple traveller clothes of like browns and beiges, necklaces around of shells that were given to him, string necklaces, and some bracelets. He's very fancy. He just likes wearing pretty things. And yeah, also covered in blood on his arms. And now we're going upstairs to get cleaned.
Yes. I lead you into the room. Is it a fancy room? Is it a...
It's not fancy. I mean, it's clean, it's presentable. There's sort of all the accompaniments that you need. There's like a little, like a nightstand nearby with what seems to be like a fresh copper bowl of water, and there are just simple bed linens and hangings, wooden floor, wooden walls, and a closed window that would look out to the street below.
3 single beds?
No, you've been given each a single room.
Oh, okay. Amazing.
Yeah. So you're basically on a corner. So there's 2 of you next to each other, and then one. You're next to you as well, like an L shape essentially.
Fantastic. So I lead you into the room that I first called you out the window of, and you want to sit down and we'll take a look at that.
Yeah, that might be ideal.
Mm.
You got any healing spells there?
See what I've got left from last time.
Yeah, I've got a healing word.
What can I do? Well, I suppose we're going to rest anyway, so.
Yeah.
A long rest will bring you back up to full HP, and you'll get all your spells.
Love being able to sleep off gory injuries.
Yeah, that chunk of your arm that's missing, that'll grow back.
Well, like HP doesn't necessarily have to mean physical damage. Like it can be that like getting down from 30 to 0 is you losing your like mental fortitude, your stamina, your morale,
Your will to go on.
and then like the last one can just be that bite that sends you over the edge. So you could just, I mean, it's up to you, but it could just be you have one pretty gory wound, and it'll heal up enough for tomorrow for you to be all right with it.
Well, cast healing wound on that then, on me and you.
You did have a tooth hole through
I do have
your
a tooth
arm.
hole.
Yes, you did have a new piercing.
So I'm going to...
I
Don't
drop a
tempt
point
him.
through it.
So I'm going to go head over to like the fireplace, like there's a little fire bit.
Yeah, there's a fireplace in the corner one.
Yeah, I'm going to go sit next to that.
I just sit down on
And
the
just-
floor in the middle of the room. I'm just like, so that went really well.
It's done.
I thought it went really, really well actually. We managed to save that creature.
Yeah.
Yes.
We kind of need to talk about like you guys not following the whole plan, but
We
I'm
can
too
do-
tired to do
I'm
that
sorry,
right now.
Your plan was to come back and tell us what you were doing when you'd found it,
Yeah.
and when we
And
got
I
there,
was
you were
searching.
nowhere to be seen.
I was searching for information on where he'd got the guard drake from because I thought that we could take it back there. I didn't get to find that information because as I was searching the upstairs of the house, I hear roaring and screaming and fighting.
Time was slightly of the essence.
I was
Maybe next time
invisible,
be a
no
little
one was
quicker.
going to- Wow, well I don't see you being able to turn yourself
We
invisible.
heard when they saw you from the street,
Didn't see me.
and that's when we entered the building. They were screaming, "She's in here!" Or,
They did
They're
see
in
you,
here.
that's what we heard.
yes.
They didn't see me, they thought that there was something in the room.
If you two
Anyway.
are all right, I'm going to bed.
Good night. Thank you for your help tonight. You did
Leave
a
the
wonderful
room.
job.
Slam the door.
Oh, that might. He's not very good with people sometimes.
I get that.
He's very nice though. He helped a lot.
Jury's out.
Not really.
How are you feeling?
Great about what we did. Give me your arm.
Okay.
Just sing something.
You watch as the flesh knits itself back together. Is this the first time you're using healing? You've had magical healing.
Probably not, but when Astra healed me in the middle of battle, it was kind of
Oh yeah, of course.
yeah,
In the heat of the
in
moment.
the heat of battle.
It's a very bizarre and sort of disturbing feeling. It's your arm feels like it's like really heightened, like pins and needles. The feeling itself which swells through you as you feel like the cords of magic go into your veins, and then watching your flesh knit back together. On the edges of it, as it does, it's surrounded by this fine golden, what almost looks like little golden threads, which are just pulling it back together. But as you try and look in, they dissipate. And there's this little shimmer of almost dust or steam, and it closes up.
Yeah.
The skin is pink and raw, and the pain is still there. And you get the impression that whilst your skin is healed up, the muscles underneath are still knitting back together.
Cool.
But
Nice.
for all intents and purposes, you are healed, and you can roll healing if you want. But
We're
to be
gonna-
honest, as you're going
we're
to
gonna sleep,
you're
so-
having a rest anyway. But
Yeah, I'll just kind of talk through it like it's nothing. I'll be like, oh, thank you.
yeah.
No worries.
It's kind of like when you have blood taken, and it's like you don't really want to watch, but yeah, you do.
I'm like looking at the arm, and then like from the arm to Astra, just like talking and saying like, yeah, I mean, should we maybe follow that guard drake or attempt to find out where it's gone, because we've kind of just unleashed quite a
I have a feeling.
powerful creature.
I have a
Or do
feeling
you think
it
it's just
knows
gonna head home?
where it's going to go. It was stolen from somebody else, so I have a feeling it might know where to go back to. Either that, or it will just leave the city. If not, I'm sure we can help it again.
You did do some research on
Mhm.
these creatures, and they generally live in jungles.
Mhm.
Blackguard drakes especially live in sort of swampy, marshy terrain.
Maybe we'll see it again. My friend.
Well, considering what we're doing right now, I don't think it likes us too much, but hopefully it appreciates
I think it
being
likes.
set free.
I think it likes Renard a lot. It let him do it,
Yeah, that's true.
which I think is a good judge of character. I'm going to sleep.
Okay,
Little
yeah,
bit
I'll go
tired.
out to the. In fact, wait, are there windows? Like, how many stories does this?
So
inn
you're
have
basically
to
on
go?
the first floor. The rooms that you're in overhang a little bit over the street. So looking out your window, you basically look directly down onto the street.
Can you climb up onto the roof from these windows?
You can certainly try.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that right now. I'll just go to my own room, and I will take the pouch that contains my arcane focus off my belt, stuff it under the pillow, and then go to sleep.
I'm going to do my bag business when everyone's left the room.
Astra does his bag
Bag
business.
Back business. Okay.
Looking at the things in my backpack.
You wake up not too long after dawn, so early in the morning, around 7-ish, to the sounds of commotion, hubbub on the street, people moving past, carts clattering, people shouting at each other. You hear a couple people stumbling in the corridor, sort of in some days of sleep, past your rooms and downstairs. As you wake up and sort of the light hits your eyes, you hear definitely the noise of people within the bar, and the very faint whiffs of cooking meat. And you'll notice. Not just me, but like that is like the strongest one.
That's just like, I'm ready to fight again.
So does that count as a long rest as well?
That is a long rest,
Yeah.
yes.
Yay!
And spell slots.
Yes, you get all your spell slots back, any abilities, and all your hit points.
Nice.
Well, I'll once I've woken up, I'll like reattach my pouch, and I'm gonna go knock on Astra's room.
Okay.
It's because we're friends.
Yeah. Are you awake, Astra?
Yes. Hello.
You want to go get some food? I'm starving.
We can do that.
Yeah.
That sounds good. Let's get Renard.
Okay. Go knock on Renard's room.
There is no answer.
Whoa, we've been ghosted. I'll just open the door.
Left in the night.
It's locked.
Yeah, you all have the capability to unlock the room.
Oh, fuck, I don't have that spell yet. Okay, fine.
You're such a criminal.
You're gonna cast knock.
Renard. We're going downstairs for
I don't
breakfast.
think he's there. I think he's fucked off. I don't think he likes us very much.
He's our friend. And as our friend, he wouldn't do that.
We've met each other twice.
So?
Okay. Let's go get some food, yeah?
Okay, Renard, we're going downstairs. We'll see you there soon. Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
Okay, I would like to add in here that Renard's been up since before dawn, and it's already downstairs.
Okay.
And asking whoever is tending the bar this morning if it's still Huck or
Yeah.
how like the situation in Muritel recently. Sort of any news from the city.
He sort of, so as you go down, him and a young woman looks like similar features to him, like same like long black hair, human as well, but probably late teens, comes out, and between the two of them, they're basically pulling out like tureens of food and bringing them out to people who'd ordered them, like a couple of like steaming platters of fish and one small one of meat, and then just an array of what seems to be like grains interspersed with vegetables and big like hearty breakfast and stuff. And there are probably about 10 or 12 people in the city. Sorry, not in the city. In the
Pokemon
tavern.
city.
Yeah.
In the tavern, people who've been travelling through the city. It seems people in like different styles of clothing, or people who are clearly merchants, travelling through and stopped off quickly. No one really pays you any attention as you come up. One of the patrons who looks up as you're coming down the stairs sees you wearing masks. And then goes back to whatever they're eating and drinking. So you speak to Huck and you say that, and he says, "Well, I mean, in terms of what? Like, how recent are we talking?"
Any big news from the last couple of months or anything happening in the last few weeks, really?
Oh, last few weeks. Well, there's been the joust, which could find lots of patrons through the tavern. We've never been so busy, rightfully, but things quiet down again. But they'll pick back up. And recently there was with all the you're travelling through here?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So I guess you wouldn't know. Been some problem. The royal family had some issues. Not too fond with the bourgeoisie. I consider so myself, but they have friends in high places who pass through here. But no. Apparently there was some dodgy business gossip going around that someone in the family is pissed off about who's marrying who and what's happening, and a couple of them haven't been seen from in a fair few weeks.
Right.
But none of my business. I keep my hands clean. I do.
Sounds like you do. You enjoying that tea?
None of my business.
But if you hear anything more, then be sure to you look like a discerning man of fine taste. I'm sure if you heard anything, my ear is always open for chit chat.
Right.
He still grins and
Renard's not like friends.
he kind of gets the impression that you're not going to spill any more gossip. And he's like, "Will you be eating?
Yes.
Drinking? Whole meal? Slice of bread?"
That'll work. Anything you have in the bag. And for my friends as well.
Oh, wonderful.
As we're
Well,
walking down.
See, I told you he didn't. What? Ghost. He's not a ghost. He's still here.
That's not okay. Never mind.
cost is included in your stay. I'll have it brought out.
Nice.
How much do we owe you?
It's all paid for.
Your friend's taking care of it.
Are you sure about that?
And he moves into the back and clattering around.
Thank you. Thanks.
On one condition. You don't do that again.
What, me or?
Are you standing at the bar, or are you taking a table?
Taking a table.
Okay, there's one in the centre, there's one right at the corner.
In the corner. We will be taking the table in the corner.
Okay.
I don't want to get into it now, but next time you listen and discuss.
Well, we did discuss.
I'll just like lean back in a chair and put my feet up on the table, just like.
I'm going to sit with my back to the door.
Okay. The young woman comes up after about a minute and just places down a couple of basically like a pitcher of like honeyed wine, and then like a jug of lemon water as well. And
Nice, it's dawn, let's get crunk.
Renard, you're so much more carefree now. What happened?
she sort of just drops it down and then seems to be pretty busy. It's has like a dozen things in her hand and moves about.
I start shoveling food into my face.
It's good food. It's good food.
Good food! She says with all the food in front of her.
What isn't meat?
There is.
Is there
There's
a
like a
vegetarian
small
option?
tureen of what seems to be like grains interspersed with like small green vegetables.
Cool.
And there's like a small platter of what seems to be like smoked fish, like kippers or herrings, and then.
Astra will eat the not meat. I wonder where our friends have gone. Do you think they
Are
came
we-
back from being octopus?
Are we meeting up with them for this Sanskrit thing? Are we even still doing this Sanskrit thing?
Well, we signed the contract.
I just thought you might. Never mind. I guess we're still doing the Sanskrit thing.
The only place I can think to look for them is back down at the docks, or we look for Cassian's shop, or whatever it is he said he ran.
Who's Cassian?
Oh, you haven't met him. You're lucky.
He's lovely.
Okay.
Lovely like Renard is lovely.
Oh yes, Renard's very lovely.
I know what that means. So you said there's another. Oh yeah, there's another octopus now. I saw the other octopus. So it's not Boblin being two octopi. There's another octopus.
There's another octopus.
Her name is Sariel.
Okay.
Also lovely.
We saw them at the docks, so we could head back down there looking for them.
I
Or
guess.
if we look for Cassian's family business.
Yes, it's very important.
Oh
Rightly
really?
so.
Okay.
It goes up, like, just gonna stand up and head over to the bar and be like, excuse me, have you ever heard of trinkets and tailors? Cassian's thing.
What, in general?
Tyrion's trinkets and tailors shop. Is it here or?
He seems to think for himself for a second, and he shouts into the back and. Yeah. Snobby.
No, his name's Cassian.
Yeah. Yeah. You after them?
Yes.
You can-
Where are they? It's our friend's thing.
Second, he dives into the back, comes back out a second later with something scrawled, and basically hands you address to it.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Come back
Thank
up.
you.
This is where he is. I don't know where that is here.
Yeah, you know the city.
Sure.
Make an intelligence check.
I possibly don't.
You're familiar with the city, but you don't know everything about it.
9.
9, yeah, you know.
Okay. So, should we finish up and
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess.
return the keys and leave? I don't think
Yeah.
want to stay.
No, I don't want
again.
to stick around the city for that long.
Oh, I thought it was nice.
Key, Astra,
Yes.
please. I take them back and hand them back over to Huck
Okay.
and finish up our meal, I guess.
Mhm.
Takes them. He thanks you for your patronage and says he looks forward to welcoming you back at the Moon and Stars.
I'm like wrapping up some of the leftover food in a napkin and shoving it in my bag.
That's so valid.
I also took all the toiletries from
And the
room.
breadsticks.
Anyone want some shampoo?
Out into the day.
Yes, head out into the street.
Okay, so Miratel is a city, sort of high society, Parisian in aesthetic. The streets, while they're not paved with gold, are, especially in the area that you're in, smooth white flagstones, high arched swooping buildings of painted with pastel tones, supported with dark oak beams and long slanted roofs with dark tiles. The shoreline glitters like just a bunch of spilled jewels. The ships that are in the port at Mirrortail are all unique, all individually painted. You don't see any sort of semblance of fleet or navy. There seems to be lots of individual captains, privateers, those who are in the employ of hunting pirates but do their best to show off about it. Each one is this sort of lavish piece of art, wrapped in gilding and gorgeous wood and detailed painting, and the houses and the buildings that are on the shorefront of Miratel reflect this as well. This is a place of wealth. The people you see walking through are clad in silks, fine robes, long, gorgeous, swooping dresses. down by the coast, like walking on the promenade, men and women in long, bustling, flowing skirts and horned headdresses with their throats emblazoned with chokers and netting with diamonds. Or you see many people carry through on I forget palanquins. People who are basically in seats atop people's shoulders who are walked through and escorted and
So freaking
sort of look
fancy.
down on the people below them. And obviously there are the workers of the dock who strike a discordant note as they clearly come from other places and regard the city and its people with a wary eye. But it's a pleasant atmosphere, but there's definitely an air of wealth and of culture. And on street corners you find an occasional bard who's plucking at the strings of an instrument or speaking out poetry, but you tend not to see too many people who are going around asking for coin. You don't see too many job notices up on boards. Okay. But where are you heading? You're heading towards
Cassian's
Okay.
family shop.
Yes. So it takes you about 20 minutes to you make your way through the Craftspersons Guild's rows and rows of houses, which each one reflects the sort of intricacies and the skills of these places. As you pass past the Carpenters Guilds, you see elaborate archways and balustrades and door frames which look like the tree just grew out of the house that is there in these burning hues of maroons and burgundies and oranges. Passing past the Stonemasons Guild, where each place is clad with panels of sandstone carved intricately, depicting faces and stories and monsters and gargoyles. You find yourself in the basically Taylor's Alley. This overarching darkened alley because of how the building basically crowd out the sun, but not unpleasant. And on the sides of the streets, the bolts of fabric being unloaded and loaded into shops. You see people with donkeys pulling carts who have just racks and racks of fabrics and materials and leathers and all sorts. People shouting to each other across streets, one in a house down to another in a street. Two people in windows arguing with each other passionately. And that's something. But you spot a sign in the distance that seems to say Tyrion's Trinkets and Tailoring, and standing outside with their arms crossed, looking directly out into the street, so perpendicular to you, you see a familiar figure. Describe it, please.
Cassian is dressed quite differently from the last time you saw him. Still this dark-skinned high elf with just extremely pointy, delicate but very severe features. Hair still in that wavy, slicked back fashion where it looks like it's sort of been swept by the wind, and that he just woke up like this, but also he probably took 2 hours to style it like that this morning. Still with his gold henna piece on his forehead, his eyeliner, his black mark down from his lip. But now, with the clothes that he's wearing, his arms are exposed all the way up to the shoulders, and he just has this absolutely lavish gold henna design going all the way up to his elbows on both arms. He's got blue tunic, leather chest plate over that, and then a vested robe that flows all the way down and goes from deep blue sea colours to a deep blue sea green. Big industrial belt in the middle, where he's got his satchel that you recognise as where he keeps his wand and his shells. Well, Elise won't. But now as well, on the other side, he has a rather large tome holstered, and you can't really see what the book is because it's sort of covered up, but it's just there by him. And then sort of plain brown harem pants and his big black leather boots. And he's just sort of angrily leant, not next to the shop, but sort of nearby, kind of lost in thought.
Cassian, my friend, it's good to see you again. You look very fancy.
Thank you, I usually do. What brings you all here, and Who is this?
This is Elise.
Hi. I've heard so much about you.
I've heard so much about you.
You look amazing.
You're very beautiful.
Make a deception check.
No, no deception.
in the pod.
I don't know. Was Elise being truthful?
Oh, she was being truthful.
Okay.
So is Cassian.
Wow, Cassian giving out compliments.
Elise is hot.
You're not wrong.
We were heading to Sanskra. I just thought we'd extend the offer, seeing as you were interested before.
Still am, so Sanskrit it is. Where are the other two?
We're yet to
Probably
find
octopus.
them. They went into the water and
Didn't come
did
out.
their thing.
Maybe they live there now. Who are we to disturb them? Let's go to Sanskrit, come on.
I suppose we might find them at the docks while we're trying to secure a canal boat
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A canal boat.
to cross to Sanskrit. It's not on this island.
Oh, okay.
Easy enough.
What's the shop? Can we go in? Can we look?
No,
This is his shop.
it's not my shop.
Can I see your shop?
No, we cannot go inside.
You've told us so
Why?
much about it.
There are reasons. Can we please just go to the docks, please?
Oh, but
No.
you kept saying that it was really nice.
It is really nice.
Then I'd like to see it.
No.
I walk into the shop.
Are you trying to stop Elise?
Yes.
Okay. Make a strength check.
Natural 20!
Oh my god!
But -2, so 18?
6.
Okay.
You got determined today.
You try and move past, but this high elf just squares the
Weirdly
fuck up
strong wizard.
and puts a hand out.
You shall not pass!
You try and push past. He does not budge. This man is firm and resolute. There is a cold fury in his eyes right now.
Like these pale amber eyes are just burning through you.
I just stare back. You really don't want us to go into this shop. You're hiding bodies.
Can we just go to the dock? This is not important.
For once I agree with Renat.
Yeah, you do. Friends.
I turn on my heel and start heading towards the docks,
Oh,
leaving
but
this
Fine!
rabble behind me.
Okay.
we've got so much to tell you.
Whatever. And I just follow Renat.
You continue on. You basically turn back and head towards the docks. It's about 15 minutes to walk down there. The craftsperson's guild is very close to the docks. Are you doing anything on the way?
Just chatting.
Okay.
So what have you been up to?
Business, like I said.
Okay, that's fair. We were saving Drake.
Can we not?
Yeah, maybe don't
Not whilst we're
say
in the
it out
city?
loud. We'll talk about it later.
I'll tell you on the boat.
Yeah.
The what's his name?
Who?
The guy who had the guard drake.
Como.
Oh, yeah, Arangi Koma.
Oh, Coma's drake.
Yes.
He
Can we
raised
not
that terrible thing around all the
Discuss this within the city limits. Thank you.
For once, I agree with Renard.
time. You know, if you're going to be going about on these little subterfuge operations, you really should be more careful.
That's what I told them. And I'll just walk on.
That's none of my business.
Somebody with some sense. And I shall follow Elise.
Okay. You walk through the guild and you make your way down to the docks. This sea breeze hits you and you smell the salt and the fish, various spices that are being brought off and unloaded in the city. You look out, the sun sparkles off the coast and hits your eyes for a second to adjust, but then you see the wonder that is the Mirrortail docks. You see hundreds, scores of tall ships and masts and fluttering colours and banners of ships just coming into the harbour. Make a perception check.
All of us?
Yeah,
I'm gonna use this dice now because it seems like cursed. No, I was so wrong because that
No.
one's more cursed. Perception 10.
11.
1.
Okay.
What?
Okay.
I'm looking at my feet.
Sure looks wet.
Are you walking up and down the docks, or what are you doing?
I suppose we'll be walking towards where we last saw them, on the jetty where we left the
Okay.
octopi.
Okay. With that roll, it takes you about 20 minutes. They're not in the exact same spot that you had them before, but sitting on one of the jetties, their legs dangling over in the waters, completely shoeless. You see two familiar figures, these small flying fish just darting up and over them. every couple of seconds. If you'd like to describe your characters that they see. So you come across them from behind. But
So, the smaller of the two is Sariel.
Who's tiny?
Yeah. So wisps of white hair falling all over her shoulders. A waif of an elf sat beside this tall druid boy.
Big boy.
Big boy. Has a you can't see from behind, but if you were to see the front of her, you would see sort of wide silver eyes, sort of reflecting back anything that is sort of facing them. Haunted eyes. A sort of generally pinched, like nervous, sort of secretive expression, but actually looks quite relaxed for once. Yeah. Yeah. Do we see them?
you're facing the other way, so you're
Okay.
looking out to the sea,
Yeah.
the flying fish, and just
Yeah.
dangling your toes.
Yeah. She's got her sort of trousers rolled up to about her knees, and is sort of kicking the water.
Okay, yeah, what's she wearing?
Yeah, it's sort of a full body covering of it looks like sort of mostly rags, sort of
Uh-huh.
patched together. Like in comparison to this one, it's just
Absolute
so
rag.
absolute rag. Clearly sort of self-made out of things that she's found. A sort of leather and fabric belt around her waist. She's got a cloak around her shoulders, but the hood's down. So pretty much you can pretty much just see her face. Pretty much everything else of her is covered, and her hands are out. But
And next to her you see Boblem, so he's quite tall even while sitting down. He's wearing his blue overalls and baggy white shirt with the red handkerchief around the neck, and you can see him like animatedly waving his arms, and he's talking to Elise and looking at the and like
Sorry.
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 Two very opposite characters.
I
It's the second
know.
time that's happened.
No, it's something about the name.
It's alright, we'll get into it.
But
We'll
yeah,
get into
and
it.
he's looking at Cyril talking about the fish as well. He has curly brown hair that reaches his dark black hair that reaches his shoulders, like olive skin tone, freckles, also like amber eyes. And he's just going like, it's all about the arms, you see? It's all about the arms.
you have to teach me how to do it properly.
I thought you were quite along the way. It's all about the arms.
I don't think it's the same.
It's about the arms.
You,
Hello.
both of you turn around at a familiar voice, and you see these four familiar figures.
Sarah's going to immediately roll her trouser legs down and shove her feet back in her boots.
Okay, they're a bit wet.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, feet still wet. It's like hastily.
Okay.
I'll lean over to Astra and be like, so is this the other octopus?
Yes, this is Sariel, our friend.
Hey.
Oh, hello.
Hi.
Nice to date.
Where were you guys?
We'll
I'm
talk
not
about that later.
I'm not allowed to talk about it.
Yeah, we'll tell you later.
They've been around.
We've got our contract with the Cartographers Guild and we're still willing to head to Sanskrit.
I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, I can teach you to be an octopus even more along the way.
Okay. I like that. Who is this?
This is Elise.
I'm Elise, hi.
This is the famous Elise.
Famous?
Famous?
Famous Elise. Well,
I didn't know you were famous.
I'm not famous. Why are you smiling at me like that?
Astra wants to talk about you.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Oh, oh,
It's because you're my friend.
Astra. Oh, that's so nice.
course.
But yeah, I'm Elise. You're Sariel. Nice to meet you.
Pleasure.
Do you have fun being an octopus?
It's only something I've learned very recently how to do. It is a lot of fun.
Ain't it? Just have a bunch of arms, be in the water.
we have to have two of them.
So
Comes in handy.
we need
Handy.
So we need to find a boat before Renard's head explodes with anger. So
Are you angry,
how do we go about that?
I didn't say I was angry.
Well, you're huffing and puffing and
It's very easy to
Sighing
assume that you're
and-
quite angry.
You know what? My mom and pa used to argue just like that.
Like an old married couple.
What's made you angry, Renard?
Nothing, can we please?
It's the thing we're not allowed to talk about.
We will tell you when we're out of the city.
So you're looking for a boat.
We need a canal boat over to Sanskrit, and if anyone wants supplies, now would be the time to
Yeah.
get.
So are we going to get passage on someone else's boat, or are we going to make our own way there?
What you suggesting we buy a boat?
You can rent boats, right?
I think we'll get passage.
Okay.
It's just across the water. It's like a short canal sort of. trip across,
Yeah,
isn't it?
it's probably like a 2-hour journey
Yeah.
to the mainland.
Alright.
I am rolling my eyes and already asking around.
One person want to
Oh,
make an investigation check.
I was told last time where to find the person who could.
You were.
I
You
was.
were. Okay. It doesn't take long for you, not on the jetty that you're on, but about 5 minutes from where you are. You carry down and you do see where there's like an array of what seems to be like smaller ships, like barges and tugs essentially. There's one small, smallish, not beat up, but certainly simple looking, a sort of barge ship, and posted onto the jetty nearby it just says mainland.
Do you think it goes to the mainland? Do you think? I was making a joke.
It was a good joke.
As you walk up to it on the other side, you see jetty service.
Great.
Perhaps he doesn't understand humour.
I don't think he does.
Stroll down to the skipper on the. the
There's a
small one.
gangplank going from the jetty to the boat. You currently can't see anyone on deck, but the boat itself is probably 40 feet across and 20 feet wide.
Hello. We're looking for transit to the mainland.
You hear this coming from inside. There's a sort of like cabin at the rear of the ship, and a figure pokes a head out. You see distinctly non-human. You see 3 scaled fingers poke round, this sort of sandy brown but speckled with white, and this long, almost snout, this reptilian face. These 2 unblinking eyes with slitted pupils poke out. This long face coming forward. Curiously humanoid figure, as in 2 arms, 2 legs, but then something that is clearly lizard folk. You're aware of the existence of them in the world. Whether you've seen any or not is up to you. But this sort of tanned brown and yellow with speckled white patches upon it. This folk pokes out and you see his tongue. You're looking for transit? It's early, but I can take you.
Great. We're heading for Sanskrit.
Sanskrit, I can't take you. I go across to the Genix village, this closest point. You'll have to walk from there. I only go over to mainland.
Is that okay?
How far is the walk?
How far is the walk?
Yeah,
Well, we need to do
100
that.
kilometers, 150.
That's not too bad.
Few days if you go fast.
It's better than the 3 weeks it was going to take us.
And you need to do that map thing that you wanted to do anyway.
Yes. How much would it be for 6 of us?
For 6 of you. That'd be... You got gold or copper? I'll give you a discount if you have gold.
We have gold.
Alright. 5 gold.
Each?
Total.
5 total. That's fine.
That's good.
We can do that.
It's a deal.
Welcome aboard.
Before we go, do we need to get some supplies? Like, I used all my potions
Right.
in that battle, so I think we need to stock up, don't we? Is there anywhere around here we could buy potions, travelling supplies, that kind
Of
of
course,
thing?
there are places like you're in Mirte. There
I
are
don't-
merchants everywhere.
Okay, but I don't know where they are, so
He's-
why don't you tell
he's
me?
on-
I will be your humble tool.
Very quickly
Okay.
between the 2 of you. Traveling supplies, yes.
Everybody's
Potions?
mighty angry today.
I'm not too sure.
Look, the quicker we can get this done and leave.
Comes out his cabin fully and closes the door.
Are you working together?
Are you coming or not?
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Can you give us
We
1
just-
hour? We'll give you the money ahead.
I'll endeavour. If someone else comes, ship's gone.
We'll be back in 1 hour. Back up the jetty.
Okay.
so Cassian,
Yes, I will take them to wherever I know there are supplies in town.
Okay, yeah, you reasonably know. Like
Live
con-
here?
Yeah, there are plenty of places that have travelling supplies, like fishing supplies, all sorts of things. Potions might be a bit harder to come by. Make a history check. No, sorry, make an investigation check.
10.
10.
well,
I heard about
Rachel
people buying
guys-
potions in the city, but you couldn't think of anywhere offhand. Does it? They're fairly rare as they are.
Potions when I'm at home. I'm sure there's somewhere, but I can't think what. General supplies, though, easy enough.
That's okay. We can do that.
I would like to look for someone to make an offering to Melora before we track
Okay,
it.
okay. Yeah, make an investigation check as well.
Can I do the same?
Yeah. Or then you can roll with advantage then.
Nat
If
20.
Oh,
Okay,
No
okay.
advantage needed.
Are you going off together, or are you looking?
are
I'm
they in
not-
the same sort of area, or? Like,
Oh, you're looking not for one for
not,
Melora.
not for Melora.
Okay, we'll roll that afterwards.
Yeah, I'm not openly
Um,
saying what I'm doing.
no,
you
no,
know.
no.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just
It's not
goes.
hard for you to find one. They're very common near coastline
Mhm.
cities, especially near ports. It doesn't take you long. Close to the square that you landed in before, you do see a sort of open patch of compact stone with a wheel of Melora inlaid on the ground. It's basically represents like basically bench height inlaid stone, like a wheel that sits around and is just flat on the floor. And inside the space for basically a campfire, when on top of the wheel are put offerings. You know that they're put there for travellers who would be in need, by travellers who have no need for them. A sort of give and take, like an open exchange.
Mhm.
And yeah, it doesn't take you long to find the wheel. There seems to be one person who's getting up and going from it.
Okay. Look for your supplies, I won't be long.
Okay.
And I will leave the group momentarily
Okay,
to
okay.
go and do my Wheel of Melora business.
Okay. yeah.
Are we around like a town square?
Yeah. You're
When
like
we first arrived.
yeah. It's like bustling. There are
Can
people
I-
all around.
Can I look for like a notice board with news from either the city or like other neighbouring?
The closest one is the one that you looked at before.
Oh.
There's no new information since then.
Should we go over what was on there as well? Cause
Yeah. So there was information on a missing person who seems to be connected to the royal family, which ties in with the gossip you're hearing about one of them who's gone missing, and some of the guards and cities are looking for him. A couple of various odd jobs. One that's more recently posted of a husband who has lost his engagement ring and is looking for help in getting it back. And then sort of smaller contracts on the lines of escorting ships and acting as hired muscle on journeys which might be going through slightly more dangerous territory. And there are a list of contacts and names and addresses, mostly factories and trading companies who are looking for people to come up, present themselves and say, I'll work for a couple of gold a day and look after your ship and your journey.
Okay. Boring. Is there, since Cassian doesn't seem to be helping, can I take a look around and see if there's anywhere that would sell like healing potions or anything?
Make an investigation check. And you're staying sort
It's
of
done me dirty too many
staying
times.
on the dock line.
Well, you said it's like a big town square, right? So there's like shops surrounding it. and markets
There's
and stuff?
like the small market square that you're in. Yes, if that's just where you're looking, then that's fine.
For fuck's sake! You guys keep getting natural 20s and all the bad rolls are coming to me. That's a 4.
Okay. You find somewhere that definitely sells potions. You're standing outside and it smells nice.
It's a bakery.
It's bakery.
Great. Fantastic.
Bread.
Astra, are you hungry?
Door clangs open, closes back on. A whiff of like freshly baked
I mean,
bread.
it smells good.
Yeah.
Do
You know
not
what?
like it?
I want potions.
I'm just gonna walk up to any old person who looks like they're vaguely of the same class as me and be like, excuse me, my friend, do you know where we might find some potions within the city?
Potions? Potions of what exactly? You're speaking to what seems to be like an elegant looking woman, dark skin, like dark brown eyes with like a flash of silver across her eyes, and this similar sort of like smoky silver dress stops and would have been, indignant, but
Yeah.
someone of her esteem is speaking to her.
Well, you see, I've met some rather notable explorers. They are looking for healing potions before going on an epic quest. All very romantic
I
and
stand next to him and try
exciting,
to
you see.
flex my arms and just look really powerful.
Pulls out a little fan. my.
Just lean on Astra and just go like,
And would these be the adventures?
These would be
you-
two of
That's right.
such adventurers, you are correct.
Well, you certainly lead exciting lives. Potions of healing. I confess I'm not so hot on arcane practices and alchemy, but if you were to head to the Craftspersons Guild, I'm sure you might pass by one or another. But don't take my word for it. Explore it yourself and that. Her perfume like lingers behind.
She was so beautiful.
And snotty. Right, to the guilds.
It's about like a half hour's walk back to the guilds.
No, we can't go there. That's too far away.
That's where you came from.
And then no potions for you.
Okay, well,
You know that potions are pretty rare. Like there are like herbalists and alchemists who sell them, but they're not like on like every like corner.
You might be able to get ingredients to make them, but it depends if you know how.
yeah.
Oh,
well,
I know
maybe
how.
we'll be able to. Oh, you do?
Well, I don't know if it's a healing potion. All I know is that in my farm I would get some ingredients together, make my moss sweet tea, and if somebody was sick, you'll make him feel better. Is that what a healing potion is?
I believe you have some on you actually. Yeah.
Can we examine them and see if they're indeed healing
I
potions?
brought 2 plants from home if you want to try
Examine
some.
Boblam's sweet tea.
Let's start a sweet tea shop. Please.
Make an Arcana check.
Takes out things from his belt.
Yeah.
Fuck's sake.
Oh god, 6 with my nasty little 2.
13.
13. Okay, you take it from Boblin and you swirl it around. It's the same colour and consistency. It looks like a thin, watery red liquid. The consistency and coloration of like a dark, like a cherry sweet tea, but it does have that sparkle, that almost like glimmer, like shaking sugared glitter, where it like sparkles and almost fizzes inside. That healing potion and arcane practices do have actually.
Yeah, could be.
Sure,
that
it's
what you were talking
sweet,
about?
sweet tea.
Do you have ingredients to make more? We could maybe get some here. What are the ingredients?
I don't have any. But yeah, if we find the ingredients, I could probably make some more.
What are the ingredients?
Yeah, what is
You
it?
don't need to know that, like, it doesn't need to be any specific ingredients, but you can spend 25 gold to make the ingredient, to purchase the ingredients for one.
Wait, do I know this offhand or?
Yeah. So out of character, like, we don't need to like go into every store and buy them. You can just drop 25 gold and have the equipment for one, and it takes you half a day to make one because of the feat you've got.
Okay, I think it'll cost altogether 25 gold for all the ingredients, and then I can spend half a day making it. I've only recently just learned what.
Okay.
You can make stronger ones as well. It takes a little bit longer and costs a bit more, but for a basic healing potion, you can make it for 25 gold pieces. Or if you're in the wild, you can spend time foraging for them, which would cut it down.
Well, we are going to be wandering through the wilds of Sanskra.
I mean, worst comes to worst, you can have one of mine.
Oh no, I meant we might be able to forage for them when we get across the water.
Yeah, but I mean, if you need
If you
one in
don't-
the meantime.
Yeah. Okay.
Should we head back and see if we can find Renard?
Is everybody satisfied?
Yeah.
I would like to have been looking around for a shrine to Sayanin, if there is
Mhm.
one.
Okay, so make an investigation check as well.
18.
18. You try as you might, you don't find any specific shrines to Sahani in the city. You do see what seem to be like religious iconography in the square that you're in. There's this statue of what seems to be an armored tiefling. Horns are crest and sort of like glitter in the sun. The whole thing, this sort of verdigris decayed copper. Entire thing green. This armored tiefling striking down with a burning warhammer onto some demonic figure on its back, wings outstretched and basically almost curling up to reach the tiefling itself, and one hand outstretched, a face curled in hate and rage, and its horns matching and surpassing the tieflings in itself, and baleful fire just spilling out from the warhammer. And reading the plaque on it, it seems to detail of a champion of Moradin slaying a great demon. Other than that, you see a shrine, one or two actually around the city, which seem to resemble a door, basically just an open archway, and lots of offerings around these. And make a religion check.
6.
Okay.
Nasty that one.
Nasty one.
You see the name Avandra pop up on one or two of these, but you don't really check enough. So you get that there's some connection with travel or the sea or luck.
Okay, I'm not finding what I'm looking for.
But no, you don't find any devoted places to Sahanian,
That's
unfortunately.
Alright.
To the docks.
Well, this was a massive waste of time. Let's go.
It was nice to see the town, though.
I'm
Before
gonna,
we leave.
I'm gonna point out the statue to Astra as we pass it.
Look, it's you.
No, it's certainly not.
Very angry, you. If that'll be it.
As we're looking at the statue, can I just peek into the offering bowl and see if see what's
No!
You can make a perception check. There's quite a few people around it.
7?
7. There's the glint of coin as you pass by.
Yeah, I'm not going to bother with that. not today when I'm rolling consistently. Metagaming! Right, let's go grab Renard, who I can feel scowling at me even though he's not even next to me.
I'm sure if we just head back to the docks, he'll be there, whether we want him to be or not.
Yeah, let's
Well,
go.
we do, so that's good.
Sure.
Okay. You make your way back to the docks, and you see the familiar lizard folk who is sat on the on a crate on his tug and seems to be mending a net.
Hello again.
Ah, you came back.
Yeah.
Right, are you ready to set sail this time?
Is Renard
He
here?
will walk up and join you as you
He was
reach
nearby, I
the
believe.
docks. We ready?
Yeah.
I suppose so.
And if you have any experience sailing,
Yes.
Yes.
great. Step on board. Hand me those. He asks you to chuck in the lines.
Okay.
You step on
Do
board.
so.
Okay. With the strength belying his age and wiry frame, pulls up the gangplank and it clatters onto the deck. He swiftly, quickly moves across the ship, unfurling one of the lines, and the sheet comes out. Instantly just fills and swells with wind. You'll feel the jerk as the boat that you're on. Actually, no, I don't think any of you looked. Actually, no. You don't know the name of it. Just you feel move clear and free of the jetty, and the familiar bob of the waves begins to take you. It's still relatively early morning. It's bright. It's breezy. As you're sort of leaving the port, there are small schools of flying fish who soar and just arch across the small boat. It's not a big ship. It's pretty small. As I said before, like 40 by 20. So you're not crammed on there. But the lizard folk, the captain, has busied himself at the aft of the ship, taking the helm and sailing, and just leaving you to your business. He's told you that you have probably a few hours aboard before you cross. You currently can't see the mainland. Whether it's sunny, there are like patches of clouds in the sky, but it's warming up.
Nice.
Is there like on the ship? Is there like a little cabin on top that there's a roof on top of?
There's not like.
Or is it just an open deck?
No, it's like a yacht basically. Like you
Okay.
could go below deck,
Right.
but there's like a hatch which is currently closed at the moment. He hasn't said you can't go down there or anything.
Right.
Basically, just took off and set sail. But as it's not stormy or rainy weather, just left you to your business on the deck itself. There's one mast. It's a pretty small ship.
I will go and find myself a seat beneath the bell strap
Okay.
of the mast and just sit there
Okay,
in the
okay.
shade.
Okay. Yeah, there aren't seats as such, but there are.
No, I
a couple
take a
of
sit on
yeah,
the deck.
yeah.
I
Okay,
sit on the
okay.
deck, yeah.
I think Boblin would just be at the edge of the boat, just kind of looking over at the fish with wonder, just
Okay.
like stretching out his hands every now and then to try and see if he can touch them.
Okay.
Cassian is positioning himself at the front, but like facing away, so he's sort of watching the city get smaller as they go. Like,
Okay. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I'm also going to go to the front, but I'll be like facing the way we're going and just like feeling the like wind through my
Yeah.
hair and on my skin
Yeah.
and just kind of like
You've got like a damp and like the sheen of like salt water spray as you're cutting through. Once you basically exited the dock, you see Eskepi pull a line, and the rest of the sail like furls out and billows, and you feel the wind rushing your hair as the speed picks up. And you feel yourself just cutting through the waves, and there's the slow and steady dip. And with each peak and trough, the spray of the sea water those of you who are at the prow of the ship, you feel it mist up against you. You look up, and as you move out of the harbour, there's less and less of the fish that you see, but they came pretty close when you're nearby. But as you get out into open waters, you don't see any more. Looking out, not near to you, but like a fair, like 100, couple of hundred meters off, there are other ships which are pulling into the port, and a couple moving out as well. I'd say you two make a perception check.
18.
7.
Can you perceive?
I'm just like, what?
Bottom, you're looking out for more of these schools of fish, and you see something break the water line about directly off in front of the ship, but like 100, 150 meters off in distance. I know I'm switching between feet and meters. Feet is better for close up, and meters better for far out. So, something winged seems to take shape. You can't see perfectly at this distance, but about 150 meters off, something winged takes out from the water as if it was almost flying underwater, beats its wings, and then is just skimming along the surface. It's basically going perpendicular to you. At this distance, it looks large, but you can't picture exactly what it is.
Yee, that's a big wing. Y'all seen this?
What is it?
Once you point out, you're able to see, and you see hanging low over the water, two large leathery wings beating in quick succession as it basically skims across the water. This line being cut behind it as the tail drags in the water, just skimming off, and occasionally cutting into the waves and soaring back out, diving back down again, cutting this sort of erratic zigzag line as it skims in and out of the waves.
Is it more bird-like, or is it more like...
Make a nature check.
Yeah, do we recognize what it is?
Are you pointing out to
19.
everyone or just?
Yeah, whoever was near
Whoever
me.
was
You're
at the
close
front,
enough to
so
listen.
I
listening
just
through it.
called over my shoulder.
Yeah, you would have heard because it's a small ship.
Whatever, take a
7.
gander.
19.
19. Okay. It looks like reptilian leathery wings.
Okay.
It's not flying towards you. It was basically going perpendicular across you, so it's getting further away. But it's now facing away from you, pretty much.
Like a...
What did you get, sir?
I got like 8.
Okay, you can't make out at this distance. But you,
Wow.
you don't see any feathers.
No.
Mm.
It's not a bird. It's more like a lizard, so... is it a dragon?
I'm
Oh,
not sure.
You had seen a water wyvern before.
yeah. Oh.
The one that
yeah,
you
you
wrestled on the
Oh, yeah.
ship.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the one that was wrestling the
Yes,
farm
have
for
a
fish.
memory.
But this one's a fair bit bigger. Wingspan probably looking at like 10, 12 meters. Because you can, at this distance, it's basically a marble now.
It's a big
But
baby.
the fact that you know it's far away.
He's a big boy. I've never seen a one this big.
I've never seen one, I've just heard about them.
You catch them out in the bay sometimes.
Or you just appear next to us to be condescending.
I'm up at the front as well.
Yeah. But sort of like
I
nearby.
was just like vaguely listening in, like, oh, these two again.
I'll turn around and I'll be like, so does that mean that you guys can turn into one of those now?
I'd like to try, but
It's pretty big.
yeah, I don't know if I can think about having wings.
You should try it right
Start
now.
flapping my arms a little bit, trying to think about having wings.
I'm gonna
You-
move back into space.
Mechanically, you try, it doesn't succeed.
Don't tease them like this, it's painful to watch.
Mechanically speaking, you know you can only transform into beasts, and this is something draconic, which
Yeah.
is a higher level of creature.
Yeah, I don't imagine Moblin would know that. He's just like, he tries what
Yeah,
he can.
that's right. Yeah.
Just be like,
It's too hard.
It's okay.
Don't seem to be
Maybe
working.
some other day.
I'll keep you in mind. I'll give it a couple of tries.
Yeah.
Nice.
Go so
Yeah, you reckon if you keep
doing
working at
this.
it,
Yeah.
might happen.
Well, these two are having fun stretching their arms out and stuff. I'm gonna sort of tap Elise on the shoulder and be like, so Elise, if you are to be traveling with us, what exactly is it that you do?
Well, I'm a sorcerer, so magic stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
Care to elaborate on that?
I'll cast Shocking Grasp and just let the electricity like run over
Yeah.
my body.
You see from the palms of Elisa's hand this spark which just flickers into life, this blue flash of light which like reflects and illuminates off her fingers, then surges and it crackles and wraps and wreathes around her hands before dissipating up her arms.
You're like a thunderstorm.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
So pretty.
very attractive trick, but I was talking like occupation.
Oh, well, currently I'm researching arcane artifacts.
There we go.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that acceptable to you?
That's all I was really trying to ask, but thank you for the display.
Oh my god.
Askepi's like quite far away at the aft and seems pretty focused, doesn't seem to have twigged onto any magic use. I mean, you're fairly far away and he's like looking out and over you.
Very busy lizard.
Yeah.
So what about you? Will you be bringing your talents as a tailor to our party?
Well, I've already promised Sariel over there that I would make her something better than...
I told you don't have to do that.
I will, my dear.
Honestly, thank the gods.
Precisely.
Is there something wrong with what I'm wearing?
I don't see anything wrong with it.
I think it suits you. The colours go well with your skin.
I think it's a little below Cassian.
Renan
she
is
is
correct.
She is quite
They're
small.
not Cassian's
clothes, they're mine.
She can't help that she's short.
To answer your question, I will bring some of my tailoring talents, some of my trinket talents, but mostly I am also of the arcane nature.
Oh, cool. Well, I showed you mine and I do the arcane, shocking grasp again. Now you show me yours.
Well, you're going to have to ask me for dinner first before something like that. Sure. I guess I just look for somewhere in the ocean that doesn't really have much going on. Because I don't want to kill a fish in front of Astra.
Astra turns around with the eyes.
You don't see any wildlife in the
Yeah.
immediate area.
Kill Bill Sirens.
Reach into my little satchel, pull out my driftwood, crystalline, and shell-covered wand, and just raise an eyebrow at least and shoot an arcane bolt off the side.
Nice.
You see this crackle of arcane blue energy and streak out from the wand at Cassian's hand. Around his hand, this sort of like almost like miniature like explosion, like this little puff of steam of like bubbles and sea foam, which instantly dissipates. But this beam of blue, green, black energies streaks and crackles out, and you see it hit the water, and this jet of wave and foam just
Dead dolphin.
soars up.
Lands on the deck of the ship. Like,
You-
flopping around.
You hear a shout from the back of the ship. What does that?
I just put the wand away.
That was dope.
Thank you.
Did you see?
It was nothing. It was just
It's a wave.
one of those wyverns just.
Make a persuasion check.
Deception. Did you say persuasion?
Yeah.
Uh,
Deception.
oh,
Actually, sorry,
deception,
because
cool.
that ain't
So
true.
that'll be 21. I'm back,
21.
baby.
Okay. You see Askepi pull on the lines and basically lash it to the wheel. He scuttles down, his tail like slithering behind him, and just peers over to the side. You said there's nothing?
Yeah, it was just
Nothing.
one of the.
I heard
fishes in
something, I
there.
swear.
Well, there's creatures in there, you know.
It was just a very big fish.
Don't need to condescend me, human.
I wasn't condescending. I was explaining.
Turns
Let's
and
not throw racial insults about.
He just turns and just stalks back up and unleashes the helm and carries on, but looking at you can see he's definitely keeping an eye.
Do you need help doing anything?
No, we're making good waters now.
And what was your name? Sorry, I didn't introduce myself. I'm Verdant Astra.
Askepi,
Escape, it's nice to meet you. Thank you for
pleasure. Sort of grins and you see this like row of like yellowy sailors' teeth, a couple of them missing. You know, tongues of pipe in and just continues working.
I think our fun is pissing him off a little.
I could cast a better spell.
Don't waste it.
Can you
You're far away enough from him now. He's gone back to the helm, so there's a fair bit of space in between you. So if you're whispering, he can't hear you. And it's like with the wind rushing past you as well, you get the impression he probably won't be able to hear you. But that definitely drew his attention.
Alright.
It was like him of like a big rock being chucked into the ocean. You would go,
But with more magic.
yeah.
Yes, I think perhaps you're both done with that? Or are we trying to draw attention everywhere
Alright,
that we
Dad.
go?
Can we tell him what we did now?
Yeah.
Fine, you're so
Actually,
proud of
do
it.
we-
Go ahead.
We saved a guard drake from a man who was torturing the poor thing.
Oh, well done.
Ah, so
Yeah.
we can't walk it around the city anymore. Good, it takes the biggest shits.
Yes.
Well, it was also bleeding from the mouth profusely from the way it was being treated, but
Oh no.
let's talk about his feces rather.
Oh,
It's a
well
common
done,
enough
Fully
sight.
Raven. Why were you all so secretive about it?
I don't know.
Because
did
we
something
broke into
good.
a
Because
lord's
we
house and
broke
freed his
into
pet.
his house and
He'd probably have been executed or at least imprisoned.
Oh. That's all right.
He
That
didn't
don't
seem
sound like
like
a
a nice
very
person.
nice man.
No, he wasn't.
He's not a very nice man, but still doesn't mean we wouldn't get in trouble.
yeah, but he got what was coming to him, I guess.
Mm.
We can't torture
The
that creature
creature's
anymore.
Exactly, the creature's free.
Where is it now?
It's hopefully gone home. It left.
Oh, it's just released into the city.
You just let a guard drake loose in their tail.
Oh yes.
Y'all
Didn't
didn't
have
ask
much of
it
a
where he was
choice.
going?
I tried to learn Draconic. We went to the library, and I've got a base idea of some words, but I wasn't able to communicate properly.
Ah.
Well, either the god drake or someone very powerful is going to have a good meal soon.
Well, you said that you reckon these creatures have a pretty good homing
Mhm.
signal.
If it doesn't get hunted down on its way out of the city limits.
Which wouldn't surprise me.
Then we should probably go back and make sure that's not happening.
Astra, we're doing something else then. Can we please move on?
I'd leave the conversation.
I want to go after Astra. I'll just like pull him aside and be like, Astra, I got you a present on our mission. And I pull out one of the crystal decanters of bath oils that I took. And give it to him. I like to get people presents when I go on missions.
What is this?
for you?
It's
They're
this
bath
sparkling,
oils.
like thick, like oily, like oil. What's the word? Consistency. Oily consistency of like a blue liquid with a couple of bubbles like floating on the top. Probably like 100 ml worth, and it's like nice, like fancy crystal. It's sealed at the top.
Thank you.
Elise looks genuinely shocked and is just like, what do I do?
Shocking
Astra has his
grasp.
shocking grasp.
An attack!
I got one for Ren too, but he seems very tetchy.
Well,
Right
maybe
now,
it-
I don't think he'd appreciate
Maybe
it.
it'll cheer him up.
I don't know about that.
I think maybe just take a moment and speak to him. Maybe it will help him calm down.
I kind of look over to where Ren is.
You cannot
I
tell
can-
anything from his masked face.
You
I
could
can
be
feel
asleep.
the scowl through the mask.
Yeah, I think I forgot to mention this before, but there is gauze behind the eye socket holes of the mask, so you can't even
You know,
get
I
a
can
reading
just-
on his
I
emotions.
can just sense it.
You're right, you could just be sleeping next to him.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know.
I think maybe I'll wait a little bit before I give him his.
Thank you for this, though.
You're welcome.
Put my head between my knees and try not to think about the feeling of the waves underneath the boat.
Make Constitution saving throw.
Oh!
I had to bring it up, didn't I?
Ren
How's
open
that?
water.
16.
Ooh. Ooh. No, you're okay. You're
I
okay.
got my hands on the
You're
back of
okay.
my head as well.
I give him a very condescending pat on the head.
You don't bomb
Okay.
at the waves. The touch of Cassian.
I reach out and grab your wrist and twist it as you try to touch me.
Strength save, nat 20.
Are you trying to grapple him?
No, just trying to push
Okay,
him off.
okay.
Don't touch me.
Are you still holding my
No,
wrist?
no, just twist it and let go.
You nearly ruined my makeup.
I said don't touch me.
Just trying to make sure that you feel a bit better. You seem uneasy on the waves. And as a caring friend, I just want to make sure that the team's doing okay.
Go stand at the front again, will you? Stay away from me.
Something you'll learn about me very soon from this. I don't like doing what I'm told. And I sit down next to him.
I'm losing my goddamn mind.
So,
Boblin, you see the smudge of the shoreline on the horizon.
sure I'm not too busy paying attention to the drama?
Well, I just think you're closest to the boat. I mean, you keep an eye on that, but you also...
Did me and Astra see or hear any of that exchange?
You're all pretty close by, so you'd be maximum like less than 40 feet
I would
away from
like
each
to
other.
lean in as close as I can without touching Ren. Just whisper, word of advice. Don't fucking test me, or you will end up at the bottom of the sea.
And I just walk away.
I mage hand.
No reaction.
Pat Ren on the head. But like, I'm like very pointedly just looking at Astra like we're still having a conversation.
Make sleight of hand.
19.
Okay, make a perception check, Astra.
7.
Okay.
Bath oil.
In which case, Renard's just gonna go.
Yeah, it's likely you'd have heard that conversation except what was whispered, because you're pretty close by. It's a pretty small ship.
Yeah. So we would have seen the whole like, don't touch me, bitch.
Oh my god.
And Cassian just get very close.
So this campaign's gonna last one episode. Everyone's gonna kill each other.
Team friendly fire.
Friendly fire!
I'm not going to kill anybody.
They all seem mighty tense.
I'm having a great time.
As you walk away towards the prow of the ship, you do see the shore.
Oh no, I'm going the opposite way because that's where Ren told me to go.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm going towards the.
Then Renar, you would see that. You would see
escapee.
that. Yeah. So you climb the steps and
Yeah.
you're basically on like a slightly elevated deck.
Yes, where I should be, above everyone else.
Man's gonna go down.
Oh my god.
I would like to fly. No, I'm kidding. I don't want to waste a spell slot on that. I'm already taller than him. It's fine.
Oh my god.
We've not long left. Half hour at most.
Cool.
You sit here. Pass me that. And he sort of just gestures to like a box of like materials. Small box. Right, guess I'll do it myself. Pushes past and just grabs out what seems to be like what looks like basically like a moss, thick purplish moss. Sort of packing it down, sticking it in his pipe, and lights on a tinderbox. Starts huffing away.
Further away from me. I
So like gestures his pipe towards you.
I go sit at the back of the ship and get my book out.
The last half hour of the journey, I want to read some more of my book on arcane foci.
Okay. You can get into it a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can't serve
Yeah,
too much
I just want to like
Yeah.
skim through
Can
it.
they see where the top is from where they are?
the top of the ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's not like crow's nest or anything.
Okay.
It's not
cool.
big enough to warrant that.
Yeah. I'll just sort of angle it away from
Oh, you
everyone.
mean at the aft? Not.
Huh?
Sorry, I thought you meant the top of the mast.
No, just like at the back of the
Yeah.
ship.
No, they could see. They
Okay,
could see
cool.
definitely. Your lower half is probably like
Yeah.
cut off. But
Just private reading time.
Yeah.
Cassian.
Renard,
Yes.
I think I've done a bad thing.
Is it a bad thing?
I think I did.
Because we've left Mirrortail,
Mm.
and I never returned the book to the library that I borrowed.
You paid for it.
No, it was a lent out as a loan.
You can return at any time. They'll give you back your copper piece.
Okay.
Really weighing on your mind, huh?
Tiefling, were you really stressing about that?
I only just realised I've still got
You
it. with
paid 1 silver to borrow a book.
me. But they said I had to take it back, and then we left.
Right. I'm sure they won't miss it for now.
I'm going to go read it then. I'm going to keep reading my little book then about... It was a Draconic book.
yeah,
wasn't
it was basically an introduction to speaking Draconic.
Can I go over and try and help Astra if I notice that?
Yeah, you
Since I
absolutely can.
can't speak it.
Yeah.
I would love if you helped me to learn how to speak it. It came in more handy with the Drake that we dealt with, but unfortunately I wasn't able to properly communicate what we were doing.
Yeah, I love to. You see, Draconic's all about the truth.
Okay. So it's more like a...
It's about the arms. It's about the
Like-
throat.
Boblam's rendition of heads, shoulders,
Arms, drum. Just gonna sit next to you and like talks animally.
Similar to Infernal is what I'm getting. It's quite similar.
I can't speak Infernal.
Oh, it sounds like this.
It sounds like demons. It's just like, oh my.
Shouldn't really be speaking like that. It's a bit rude.
Mechanically can take time over. Like we can like if you want you can like put in like a set time every evening like to learn Draconic,
Definitely.
like to learn language, and it will go quicker having
Yeah.
someone who speaks Draconic do that. So I mean I'll look at like the times of how long it takes to do that to learn new language, but it'll definitely be quickened by having someone do it. But yeah, you can just say like in the evenings like like we sit down and like go through some of the
Yeah,
Draconic and try and
definitely.
teach it.
Amazing. So that's a half hour on that.
Yeah. To be honest, a half hour probably wouldn't really
Doesn't
do
do, won't do
much.
anything, but it's like talking
Yeah.
about it at least.
You probably got some pronunciations better.
Oh, I was saying golf ball. Not we're friends. I see.
Say hello, goodbye, and where is the train station?
God, do you know the library? Donde es?
La biblioteca!
You were saying una cerveza, por favor. Actually.
The 2 sentences you need to get by life.
There we go.
The landscape manifests from a dark smudge to clear coastline that you can see. Nowhere near as built up, in fact, not at all, as the shoreline that you left. You see rolling hills in the background and a sort of like a low-lying inlet. As you get closer, a couple of buildings like houses and huts like do manifest, and a very simple like makeshift dock and jetty. The coastline stretches as far as you can see on either side, going north and south.
I can't wait to get back into the wilderness instead of towns.
In fact, you have a map which actually illustrates. So I'll let you look.
Bernard has
But
a map.
yeah, you left Mirror Tail, and you cross the Ageni Channel. You're now approaching Genix Village. Yeah, if you want to pass that around.
Yeah.
If Renaud wants to.
Bernard doesn't share maps.
I will show you guys. Bernard is not sharing. So we've crossed from Mirrortail across the water,
Right, okay.
and this is what we're going to attempt to map each day.
Cool.
Cool.
Thank you.
Curls all the way away.
So Mira tells that town that we're crossing over that tiny bit of
Yeah.
water.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry for the hiccups.
How dare you? How dare you?
Nice.
Very, very you.
Uncharted.
So yes, that is the map. Oh, it's right. You can keep that in the middle. That is the map that was given to you by the Cartographers Guild. They basically want you to chart that area in the middle, and they promised you basically a set amount of gold per each kilometre that you map. So you're to basically sketch out what is there as you move through the area south of Sanskrit.
So it was Miller that we spoke to in the cartography.
Yes, yes. But so basically, once you've finished off the map, you can leave it anywhere where there is a Cartographers Guild.
Cool.
You got the impression there's probably not one in Sanskrit?
Mm-hmm. Just charting all this uncharted territory, find a cartographer's guild in the middle. Like, what are you guys doing?
Why would you get here and not like
We
write down
lost
everything?
all our
Yeah.
quills.
Yeah, they know of, like, everyone knows that Sanskrit is there somewhere, but it's not like a commonly visited place.
Okay.
It's difficult to get to, and there's a sort of, not an unwelcoming culture at all, but it's this sort of remote, almost fantastical place. Like, maybe some people don't really believe in it fully. Maybe some people like, it's not a real place. Like, there's no city that floats on docks. The ship pulls up, pulls in and docks at this one long jetty. Okay, probably about 20-30 meters long. It's the biggest ship by far. There, you see a number of like small fishing vessels. Probably about 10-20 people nearby them, who seem to be offloading catches and hauls, nets full of. Just full of fish, just slamming them down onto the jetty. About 40 metres down, another smaller jetty. But you see, as you draw close, the sails are furled back up. As you slow to almost just a crawl, a skippy leaps overboard and deftly, with speed, not giving away his age at all, loops the lines around the large wooden knots on the jetty, and you feel the ship grind against the jetty, like bouncing off the fenders that are there.
Renard will be up and off that ship as quickly as possible. Yep.
Skeppy basically leaps back on and then throws the gangplank over, which clatters down onto the jetty. It was a pleasure to have you.
Thanks for the ride, man.
And you.
I give him like the one gold.
Oh, it was already paid for.
Oh, you paid for everything. Oh, okay, money bags.
He's mean to us, but he buys us things.
Yeah.
A weird sugar daddy.
Yeah.
Mean
A cold sugar daddy.
It's iced coffee.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the ride,
Reholster my
Skeppy.
book and just like quietly.
Thank ya. Boblin takes off his sun hat.
Oh, okay. If you're going back in the evening, I'm going to be making a return trip tonight.
We won't be
Sunday.
going back for a while.
Understandable. Safe journeys.
And
you.
you.
Turns on his heel.
And you.
You see him just take a seat and he'll sort of lie down on the deck and soak up some of the sun.
Oh, good.
He's cold-blooded.
Standing on the jetty, before you see a cluster of 30, 40 buildings, one or two larger than basic huts. It looks like a pretty small village. On the jetty near you going into the land, there's one group of 4 people, 3 humans and a dwarf, who are carrying between them large nets full of fish, and then 2 or 3 people who are coming back up and what looks to be just setting up another small cog basically to make another fishing journey out. Okay, it's about midday by this point. Sun is still shining brightly through patches of clouds, and people acknowledge your arrival and just sort of nodded and tapped their hats, but no one's like stopped to talk to you or anything. You've got a couple of looks. Some people catch on someone's teal with horns and someone in a mask and blue hair, but nothing outright's been said to you.
What race are the people here? It's just
You see a fair couple of humans. You saw one dwarf in the group of fishermen, and then coming towards you looked like one person who's human. You see one person with what seem to be slightly pointier ears.
Okay.
All relatively tanned, weathered skin, people who are obviously fishers by trade. Yeah, have probably spent most of their years working on the deck of a ship, sailing or trading or fishing, in relatively simple clothes, utilitarian, baggy white shirts and trousers in greens and greys and browns and simple shoes for day. You don't see nothing like the opulence of Mirrortail.
okay. And it's around midday, isn't it?
Yeah,
Probably.
yeah. So you get people probably coming in from the first catch and probably heading up.
So baking hot as well.
No, it is hot certainly, but it's not baking hot.
It's not like England on Thursday.
Yeah. It's comfortably warm, but there's a nice breeze coming off the sea. Which is...
No breeze for you, mask face.
Has
Has anybody been here before?
No, I
Never.
can't say I have.
No?
What did I know?
Is
Is this-
from the area? From over there?
Does he look like he comes here?
Just like Cassian's sort of village. I don't think so. I get out the map.
What's that?
This is what the Cartographers Guild gave us.
Oh, that you've got to fill in the little boxes.
Yes. Fill in the little boxes. Does everyone want to get straight to it or spend time in the village?
How big is this? Asking out of character, how big is this? Is it literally a village?
It's a
tiny?
village, yeah. So I mean, you see probably 30 or so small. As you step off the jetty, you see 30 or so small buildings near you, which are probably houses. Not poorly built, but within their means. And in the distance, just beyond them, you can see one longer building, about 4 times the size of a house. You see some small penned fields with a couple of cows and sheep. Definitely not their industry, dealing with agriculture, but small enough that it's probably within the realms of 100 people maximum is probably your guess.
Right. Well, if we couldn't find potions in Mirrortail, it's unlikely we'll be able to buy them here, but we could stock up on some food and water before we head out.
Why not?
Seems like a good idea. The Miller, was it?
Miller.
Cartographers Guild said this was going to be mostly mangroves and wilderness, so...
Good. I'm looking forward to getting out of the
So-
cities.
Food that won't be perishable.
Yes,
Yeah,
rations.
some dried food.
The village backs onto a set of hills. Right. So beyond the extent of the village, there is like a main road which you see goes into the village and then seems to curve along south. But beyond the village, there are high hills.
This is going to be a slow process, so make sure you have everything that you want.
Yes, but the quicker we get onto it, the quicker we get paid.
That's true. Is there just like a general goods store that sells food, or like a food market or anything like that?
Yeah,
We might
yeah.
be able to buy
Okay.
just like enough rations for
Mhm.
the group or something.
So you walk off the jetty and into this round, so about 20 meters. You pass a couple of houses. The two of the larger buildings seem to be like fishing dock, like warehouses essentially, probably where they pack and salt and cure the fish. You get the strong smell of it from there. And then you pass a couple of houses, like little paths leading off to them, and then you get into like a circular patch of like beaten down earth, a small stone ring in the center, and then some of the larger buildings clustered around it. You see in the center a signpost which is pointing off in all directions. Looking at it, you see that it has directions for a herbalist, for a carpenter, the itchy ship, the dancing deer,
I want to go there.
general supplies, fishing supplies, and then one large sign which says the Southern Road.
Well, Elise, why don't you take Boblum and go look for
In this herbalist
herbs, and the rest of us can get general supplies.
Yeah,
You know, cut
you
down
guys
the
go take care of food. We'll
That
try
sounds fine
and
with
get
me.
some stuff to make some potions. Problem?
Yeah, sure. I can show you the sweet tea recipe.
Okay. So who wants to go first? So
We'll go to the general store because we're just getting rations.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't take too long.
Okay. I mean, don't have to RP that. You can spend the time buying the rations. It's took like how many days are you buying for?
How many days do we want to buy for, guys?
Do we have any idea of how long it'll take us to
yeah.
get from here to actual Sandscrow?
So it took us 2 hours on a ship to cross there.
Yes.
Sanskrit is here.
Ah.
This is maybe 6-7 months away. We have to finish within 6 months as part of our contract.
It's
What?
they gave you the impression it's
This is the campaign forever.
But
Just
basically,
cartographers.
essentially the Cartographers Guild said to us, you can bring it back with as much as you want filled in,
Yeah.
and
So if
we'll
we
pay you
basically
per
just
square.
yeah,
essentially.
as long as we just sort of, like, but we want to sort of get to Sandscrow.
yeah.
Yeah.
As the crow flies, it's about 200 kilometers. Okay. On normal terrain, you could probably cover 50 kilometers if you were moving fast a day.
Mhm.
Okay, so that would be powering through. You can't be quiet. You're not taking much time to look through things. Bearing in mind you're going over difficult terrain, that will slow you down considerably.
Yeah, and we're also trying to map the area, so we need
Yeah,
to
We're
exactly.
looking at like
You need to actually
Yeah.
stop and take notes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
so
a few weeks or a month.
it depends. If you want to go straight to Sandscrow,
Uh-huh.
you could probably do about 12, 15 kilometers a day. So you're looking at about a bit over a week, maybe, if you're going slow. And bear in mind, as you're climbing over hills, you'll be able to see over a lot further. And even though you're travelling in a line, you can see far and you can map areas. And we've got mechanics for mapping out the areas and such. But you don't need to trace every single area. And you could just walk through and trace the route that you're on and cover that many kilometres and get the gold for that. You could loop back and forth and try and cover a lot more area. It's completely up to you. But as the crow flies, going at a slow pace, probably just over a week.
Can we carry that much food on us? Food
Oh,
for a week
absolutely.
for 6 people?
Yeah, I have at least that many rations.
Yeah, I think I have.
Just on my personal.
I have one
Yeah,
ration.
I have one day ration.
Yeah, I have 9 days worth of rations on me.
I
right
have
now.
10 days worth of rations apparently.
Yeah,
Bobham's ready.
Yeah.
He comes from afar.
Also,
Yeah.
Boblin can probably forage for us as
Yeah,
well.
I've
You
got
can-
4 days.
Yeah, you can all forage, but
Um,
And Hunt, although Astra will probably have our heads for it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Just do it when he's not.
he doesn't have to know.
Yeah, when he's asleep, we'll go hunt.
Um,
It causes psychic
getting-
damage and I do hellish rebuke on you.
Yeah, get enough food for like a week for everyone, and
Okay. Okay, yeah, sure.
I'm fine with that. Shall we?
we can forage
Mhm.
if we need to.
So who's going to go with Elise and Boblin?
It's us three,
That's- yeah.
unless anyone else wants to come.
You're welcome to go to the herbalist. I'm happy to go to the ration store on my own.
I'd like to see the ration store, or where we're going.
The general store.
That one.
Store.
I'll go with you.
I'll go with him.
Okay.
It seems like you all have this covered. I'll just wait here.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Can't
Soak up
believe
the
we're
sights.
splitting up the party.
Well, would you like to put any money towards your food?
Well, how much do you think it will cost?
Probably.
It's a banana. How much can it cost? Like $10?
It's probably about a silver a day for like a day's rations, which is basic stuff. So like some sliced bread, like a hearty bread which won't go off. Some dried meats, cheeses, and like a little probably package of fruit.
Oh, probably be about a gold each per day.
I'd give you a gold then.
Just
Oh,
one
per
day.
day. Sorry. You can have 7 then.
I already walked off
You can
with
make a
them.
deception check if you like. You can make a deception and an insight
He
check.
he said yeah.
He doesn't know how much a banana costs.
I give you 7 gold.
Unexpected from a paladin.
Nice.
No, it isn't a paladin. He's a secret pirate.
I know. I'm not about with him anyway.
I know.
I don't know why I keep thinking you were.
Because they're basically the same thing, right?
Right.
So right, where we go first?
So yeah, we'll
Do
go
the
to the
herbalist
first.
herbalist shop.
Okay. So you see the sign outside says the chamomile and cloves. This green and gold sign, very intricately painted, outside a house of like grey and brown stones. Okay. Lots of windows surround the house on each side. And it's quite like light and airy. There's a wooden door with a small window in the shape of a moon on it.
Oh, Sariel should have been here. I don't know that Sariel likes moon stuff yet. Out of
That's okay,
character.
Everyone likes stone stuff.
Moon stuff.
Wait, do any of us know that she likes moon stuff?
No.
No.
Cool sign. And then I walk
You push open the door and you see inside. It feels very cozy, like this is someone's home that they've converted into the shop. A number of desks and shelves filling out the space, all just packed out with various like ingredients and supplies. You see bunches of herbs and packed what seems to be like seaweeds, like dangling in bunches or on shelves on the walls. You see what seems to be a human woman behind the counter at the rear, who looks up as you enter. Ah, good afternoon to you.
Hi.
She sort of like seems to be like
Afternoon.
fussing. Okay, afternoon, fussing with like a mortar and pestle.
Okay.
And
This kind of looks like my mom's kitchen.
your mom must be of good taste. How can I help?
We're looking for either potions or ingredients to make some. Problem knows.
Some recipe for sweet tea. Just gonna.
You've come to the right place. Right, which potions, ingredients, or sweet tea? We're fairly short on sweet tea here, but
Wait, you know what the sweet tea thing is?
I'm aware of what sweet tea is. Yeah.
But like the magic sweet tea.
We shouldn't have sent these two alone.
Sorry. Magic sweet tea.
Sure.
What is it you want? You want?
We need health potions or the ability to make some.
You need potions of healing,
Yeah.
the ability to make some, and sweet tea. This is where I'm losing you.
No, we're not.
Ow.
We don't need the sweet tea. He has the sweet tea. He can make the sweet tea.
Lord above,
The sweet tea
sorry.
is a health potion.
What?
Jesus
I'm
Christ.
sorry, it was just sweet tea.
Let me see your sweet
I
tea.
had them.
Sir, that's a potion of healing. Are you drinking this as sweet tea?
You can overdose, you know.
You see where the
pop
confusion came
Pop
from?
the cork and... Hi. Did you brew this?
Yeah. My mama told me.
She puts a hand over it. I haven't been so impressed since I saw my husband.
Yeah.
Frankly, I don't know what to say.
It's not a compliment. It's my mama's recipe. And my mouse.
Your ma gets wiser and wiser in my mind. And she does her hair up in a ponytail and sort of swirls it around and just looks at it. And so this is sweet tea, right? I confess, mine looks and smells slightly different, but it's the same process, I imagine. And she hands it back to you. We do have a few in stock. What sort of potency are you looking for?
I've forgotten all the names.
Well, there's basically
like
potion
greater.
healing, greater healing, superior healing, supreme healing.
Yeah.
We have either potions of healing or potions of greater healing. A couple. I'll go fetch. And she brings them out.
How much? What are the prices?
Well, ding, 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 places 3 small ones up on the counter. Looks to be the same, like red, sparkly, shimmery liquid, which like sparks and glows inside the vial. These potions of greater healing. I'd ask for 500 pieces of gold for one of these. These, she pulls out some slightly larger ones in what would be like globular little vials, like orbs essentially with a little cap on the end, and in like a little small leather harness. These, more similar to what you got, potion of regular healing. I'd ask for 60 gold pieces for one of these. Save you in a pinch.
How much if you could just sell us the ingredients?
The ingredients, for one, 25 pieces of gold.
Man, that's quite a lot.
And they're not easy to come by, I'm afraid. I have to make a living, but
Maybe we should bring all the others over.
you know
and
what?
pool our money
You know
together.
what? For you, since you've opened me up to new avenues of trade, let's see. She can sort of clip something down, just like a clump of seaweed, and then pulls out some dried shaken powder from somewhere and gets something else in. Right, that's enough for one. I'll sell you that for 20 gold pieces. That's 5 off the asking price.
Oh boy.
How much gold do you have, Boblin?
I think I have 25.
Well then, we're in business.
Yeah, I guess.
I'll put down 10 of it.
Yeah.
A pleasure. And she takes what seems to be like a cheesecloth and wraps it up, wraps up all the materials, ties it off with a little cord, and just hands it over to you. So you now have the components for a potion of healing.
Oh, nice. Thank you very much. It's been lovely of you.
My pleasure. I have other things as well. If
What sort of things?
you two,
What?
I have my specialty in this town is call it ambrosia. It's I don't ask
no.
much for it.
I think you've misinterpreted
that?
our relationship wildly.
It's a potion that increases your how
I'm
amorous.
just completely clueless with the whole thing.
How amorous you might be towards your partner. Keeps energy up all night, if you know what I mean. It keeps the mighty tree standing all night. If you know what I mean.
Boblin just goes, "Are you tired? Is that what you're after?"
He's very naive. I don't think his parents have had the talk.
So you two.
But we're not together. No, we're just friends, just
I
traveling
understand.
companions.
I understand.
Yeah.
Do I hear any of this?
Yeah.
Yeah, we are traveling. I mean, I did talk to my parents plenty. I mean, before my dad died.
Oh God, child, I'm so sorry to hear that.
I just awkwardly pat Boblin on the back. I'm like, it's okay.
Well. There are other things. Potion of water breathing. Should you be not so accomplished swimmers, an oil of slipperiness. Gets you out of some mighty dangerous scrapes.
How much is the potion of water breathing?
I'll give it to you for 75 gold pieces.
Yeah, I don't have that much money, I'm afraid. I'll give you a crystal decanter. This contains a very no.
No. Bring it out.
Is that more bath oil?
She doesn't know that.
Well, she takes it and
She will though. She makes potions.
I mean, it's not what's inside. It's the decanter itself. I'm most interested in.
Okay.
I'll give it to you for 35 gold and this.
Yeah, I don't have that much money still.
Never mind.
Yeah. Maybe another time.
Another time. I'll be here. You know right where I'll be.
Lovely doing business with you.
And you. Have another talk with your ma.
About about?
Life. The birds, the bees.
I'll be
I
sure
wanna
to
talk to
relay the
them.
message.
I've talked to the birds and the bees.
No. Yeah. You know what? Do that.
I'll try, but they're not all that chatty.
Well, that's fine. My good sir, my lady fair, it's been a pleasure.
A pleasure.
And she
I'm sure we'll see you again.
she pulls out her mortar and pestle and goes back to crushing ingredients in that. Okay.
I was just like, push Boblum out of the shop.
Okay.
Okay. So, and the rest of you?
I'm gonna buy 2 weeks worth of rations for all of us.
Okay. So 40. So that's 14 gold.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
And when
Just get money.
you coming with me, aren't you?
Yeah, and me.
Okay. You are as well. Okay, great.
Oh no, wait. Sorry, it's 1 gold, 4 silver.
1 gold for
Yeah, because it's a silver a day. It's a silver a day.
Yeah.
I was duped.
You just clocked.
You just paid for everyone
And more.
with more.
And more.
It was a tip for Renard.
It's for being
For
an
his
asshole
trouble.
on the boat.
How much do one banana cost? That's 10 gold.
You get a fair few stares as you're in the.
I'm just sort of leisuring,
Yeah.
waiting for everyone to show up.
Sure, I mean loitering.
There's one man, this sort of like old face, who's like 1, 2, 3. Comes up in the square and
No, Dex.
he's walking down.
And I look him up and down.
40 sites. And just carries on.
No, take it. Baby, stop. He's under the
Let
chair.
him play. Let Tiger play.
Trying to play.
Okay, so you bought
2 weeks of rations for
Okay.
everyone.
Yeah.
To which I will distribute guys. You
Okay,
guys like
okay. You
one
meet
week
back up in the
each.
Oh, thank you.
in the square, in the circle.
Oh, what do we owe you?
It's sorted.
Oh, well, thank you again.
Yes, how many do we need to give you? Gold.
No, it's sorted.
Cassian gave you 7.
Yes, I gave you 7, so surely everyone else should pay that way.
I'm going to give you back the gold that I took from you that was extra.
So how many back do I get?
6 gold, 9 silver.
You should pay more attention to what you're paying for things.
So 7 days rations each, yeah?
Yes.
Cool. I've just put that.
Oh, 7 days rations each.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay. I thought you bought.
14 days. No, I bought 14 days for 6 people.
Oh, okay. Right. What's that? 'Cause I'm bad on that.
Massive.
Yeah, no, I'm buying extra.
Okay.
Game, we can't do
So it's
that.
14 days.
Yeah, when you're gay and can't
So,
do
Um,
that.
It's 14 days for everyone, yeah?
Yeah, what's 14 times?
Cool, so I have 50.
So it was 14 gold.
No, it'd be-
Plus the whatever the silver was. 28
No,
silver.
whoever has a calculator.
Yeah.
How does maths work?
14.
Calculator
Oh,
on your
Yeah.
tablet.
Hmm.
Oh, yeah.
A room full of
Oh,
kids
no.
that can do math.
maths everywhere.
The dog is loose in the room, by the way, guys.
Hello.
But yes, whatever we figure out, I give you back your
Okay,
change
you give me my change.
and sass you about it.
Wait. Where's the calculator?
God. It's 84.
Right.
Okay, so 8 gold, 4 silver. Yeah, that's in total.
8 gold, 4 silver.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, then you get nothing back.
No, I'm still going to give Cassian back.
Yeah.
The
Well, that's in
extra
total. 8 gold, 4 silver. So.
So, what my...
It would have been
that
one.
be?
You'd spent 1 gold, 4
Beast
silver. Each.
companion.
Okay, so I get back 5 gold.
6
5
silver.
gold,
6
6
5 and
silver.
6.
Cool.
Maths, though.
Gay panic.
You can't be gay and do maths.
It was
Hello, dog.
a gold and 4 silver. each.
Dog, no, you're going the wrong way.
Please don't hit the cameras, Tiger.
Dog incident.
Sir, you need to leave.
So this is a Denny's.
And I'm still only giving you guys a week of rations each.
Okay.
Oh, a week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I've got a ton of rations. I will work that out later.
Should be with gold.
It's on the back of the version.
Hello, sir.
So you're all back in the
Give me that.
in the circle in the middle of the town.
Yes.
Okay, okay. You see one figure come out of the longer house. This what seems to be a stout, about 5 foot man, very broad.
You.
Yeah. With white hair, tidy beard, like cropped, about like 2 inches out, white as well. This age spotted face, but again they're quite tanned. Dark skin, so we spent most of their life outside. Wearing simple leather patch clothes and a nice like blue-green cloak. Sort of sees you and closes the door and just makes his way over.
Hello.
Afternoon. You must be new here.
We are, yes, we just arrived. I'm Verdant Astra.
Welcome to Genix. I'm Barot.
It's nice to meet you, Barot.
And what are you doing in our city?
We're just stopping
Passing
by
through.
before we pass through to somewhere else.
We're on our way to Sanskrit.
Sanskrit? What brings you so far north? It's not much up that way. Some say it's just a rumor, a tall tale. Well, it slipped past you, but I described this as a city a minute ago and you didn't even twig. Well, they say that's a city up there that floats on docks. And if you look out over our docks, they can't support much. I mean, our fishermen are heavy set, mostly build boys, and that struggles to carry them. A whole city, you'd be laughing.
Stranger things have happened.
Aye. Star fell north of here not but 3 days past.
Star?
Aye. Whole village saw it. Land in the hills.
Interesting.
Sent 2 of my best to go check it out.
Insight check.
Yeah, sure.
Fuck's sake, natural one.
2.
That is. Oh no, I folded my shit the wrong way.
12.
11. 14.
No.
4 in total.
18.
He seems to be honest and earnest.
Okay.
Did your men come back?
Well, they've been gone, what, 2 days now? Not returned yet.
Do you think you could point us in that direction?
Yeah.
You just lean back and just point directly to the hills. Okay. So basically points you to right in the middle.
In the middle
sorry.
of
No, sorry, there.
the middle of the uncharted territory.
Yeah.
Great.
We're heading that way anyway.
Yeah.
We'll see if we can find your men.
I wouldn't worry. They're not in too much danger.
I'd like to see a star though.
Yeah, I've never
sounds like
seen a
nice.
star.
Speaking
what we're
of
hoping is we find something sparkling and shining on it.
speaking of the
Precious metals.
danger, personal experience-wise, what do you find out there?
There's been a couple of bandits who've been waylaying nice and innocent, kindly folk who've been doing nothing but walking through those areas. And if you're heading in, I'd keep your eye out for them. Nasty folk. Take off with the skin of your back.
I'm sure we can handle it.
Other things, I'm big fish with sharp teeth in the lake, and all manner of creatures in the hills. But to tell you the truth, we keep out of them.
Well, we're heading straight over there.
I wish you luck.
Thank you.
Keep your feet firm and your eyes up.
Yeah. Feet firm, eyes up.
If you see them, my lads, give them a kick up the bum.
How will we know they're your lads?
Well, one's got blue skin. You recognise her. And the other, human man, about late 20s. Patchwork armour. They'll have a cloak like this, and he lifts up his like blue-green cloak, and that's the cloak. That's our. We like to call it a uniform. We're the rangers. See, we're the rangers of this here village. We protect
Okay.
it.
I was about to ask.
Sorry, what your name was again?
Barot Merriorn.
And what about your friends who are looking for the star?
My friends, well. We maintain a sense of professionalism. They're my junior rangers. And,
I believe she's asking what their names are.
I cotton on now. Ezra and Kahena. Ezra's the one with the blue skin. Artemis.
Thank you very much. We will keep an eye out for them.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Enjoy your time in Genix while you're here.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
He turns and walks back.
Everyone here seems really nice.
Yeah.
Nicer
Really?
than any of the cities we've been to so far.
I mean, the lady at the store was lovely.
Yeah?
Yeah. Sold me,
Did
gave
you
me
give
a
us a
bargain on
discount?
the. Yeah.
She gave you a discount.
Yeah.
We only managed to get ingredients for potions. Turns out potions are pretty damn expensive, but yeah, we got
It's a
enough
start.
ingredients to make a health
Seemed to
potion.
quite like my sweet tea though.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah, she was
nice.
really impressed. I told you it wasn't just tea.
I still. Still can't believe that ain't your sweet tea.
Oh, Boblum's so pure.
Right, so do we think we have everything we need?
Yes, shall
Did
we
you
go
get the
find
food?
ourselves a star?
I did indeed.
He just gave us
yeah.
the.
Okay,
Dish out
it's
the,
been given out already.
so the ration
Yeah.
thing.
Cool.
If
Yeah.
if we do find this apparent star, perhaps there is some sort of material that we could harvest from it.
Yeah.
It does sound interesting.
Mm.
Precious metals, something otherworldly.
Yeah.
You think there'd be metal in a star?
If it's like a meteorite,
But if it's a star, it should be returned to the sky.
well, I don't think we can quite reach the sky.
I don't think that's really how it works.
Yes.
You can try and throw it back real hard.
He's pretty tall.
Are we leaving or not?
Let's leave.
Yes. Let's go.
Thank
Let's
you.
go, lesbians.
Okay, okay. So you climbing the hill?
Glad we had the same reaction to that.
He pointed towards the hills, didn't he?
Yeah.
In which case we will head straight in the direction he pointed.
Okay,
'Cause
okay.
he's marked it right in the middle.
Yeah.
In which case,
That's
yeah,
where we're going.
we need to head that way.
Okay, okay. You walk through the village, and you have to like cut through like past system houses. Basically, as the road curves round and follows like the length of the hills, you're basically cutting across it, and you make a slow and steady climb up the hill. It starts with a relatively low incline, but then after about 10 minutes, you're having to take large steps and really like focus on putting one foot ahead of the other to actually like climb up. It starts becoming a bit of a not like a struggle. You're not like having to like scale walls or anything, but it is steep and
With your tiny legs.
Often can just like pick up Sariel,
Take
just
us
put her on top of the hill.
Everyone struggles, bobbling one step.
He's at the top of the mountain.
after about half an hour, you crest to the top, and you see before you like almost like a plethora of what seem like almost islands. These crests of hills just poking out of shallow surface water. The sunlight high in the air now, it glints off the pools and streams and rivulets of water, creating this like soft dappled effect that is like filtered through the clouds and reflects back up at you. As far as you can see, you see the hills coursing off in front of you. Mostly grassy, but a couple of them have what seem to be like craggy outcroppings of rock bursting through. Basically, at the bottom of the hill where you are, there are like the remnants. Well, not the remnants, but what looks to be almost like a walkway that snakes out for. You can see like probably like 100 meters of it before it curves off behind on the closer hills. There are a couple of branches that go off it, but they seem, I say remnants because the branches seem to end abruptly, either where they've fallen in or simply like maybe construction on it just stopped. Okay. It's hot, it's very humid. You see some of the clouds off in the distance are building and bunching up, and some of them are getting a little darker in colour. It's still bright and warm. You definitely feel a humidity in the air. Okay.
What time of day is it now? Like roughly?
It's early afternoon.
Early afternoon.
It's going to be a pleasant hike.
Much better being out of the towns though, finally. Being back into nature.
Just try to enjoy it, man.
The tops of the hills are like scattered and speckled with blue plants and weeds that come through in shades of turquoise and azure and cerulean, these shades of blues and greens that sort of dapple the hills that are coming out and like poking out of the water surface.
Pretty.
Have we reached the top yet?
Yeah, you're standing at the top.
Okay. In which case, I'm going to stop for just a moment and get out some of the basic tools of my cartographer's kit.
Okay.
And just quickly, like, sketch lines of what
Okay.
we've walked up, just so we're...
Make a perception check.
A perception check.
So you basically see how far you can see.
What do your
Can
human
I
eyes see?
aid?
Yeah, you can.
Is that advantage? That
Yeah,
gives
I
me?
give you advantage. So I'll take the navigator's tools.
19.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it would
So-
have been 7.
From up on top, you look around and you're pretty good at gauging distance. You can probably see about a 19-kilometer circumference around you.
Okay.
So what we do basically twice a day, do a perception check, and then at the end of the day we'll do a check to see how well you translate it to the map.
Okay.
Okay. So just bear that in mind that you got a 19 on that first observation.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Are
But
there,
it's a clear day.
You said there are navigator's tools specifically in that set, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going straight down because he said that the star potentially fell this direction.
Yeah, can we see any evidence of a large object having fallen in the forest? Is there like scarring?
There's no
or fallen
forest.
trees
There's
or-
no forest.
Oh, sorry, in the landscape.
You get the impression it's quite far off
Yeah.
because they've been gone. Sorry, yeah, they've been
Said it's
gone
about
3
3 days.
days.
Right.
The star fell a little bit longer than that. Sorry, that's my bad for making getting the dates wrong. About a week ago.
Okay.
And they sent the guards off about 3 days ago.
Okay.
The rangers. The sort of bridge walkway goes pretty much from the bottom of the hill that you're at, and like makes its like snakes through what seem to be some of the darker and deeper patches of water.
Just a question. Would my cartographer's kit have a compass in it?
Yeah,
Okay, cool. So we're not going to... I just want to gauge as well which direction
Yeah.
we're going in,
that's fine.
so that if we get lost later I can check.
Mm-hmm.
So how far do we think we can get today? Back down the mountain or the hill on this side and a bit further down?
It depends how far and fast you want to go, really. Seeing as we're supposed to be mapping the area, we don't want to just shoot through as quickly as possible.
I suppose not.
I will usually stroll until nightfall and then set up camp.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be a problem. Walk until perhaps we find a good spot for camp.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay.
Anywhere's a good spot for camping if you just try.
So as you climb down, and as you get closer, like 10-15 meters from the bottom, so like the surface of the water, you feel the surface of the hill a little bit marshier. As you step in, your foot sinks into the ground a little bit, and as you lift it out, you notice that it fills up a little bit with water. And getting down closer to the surface of the water, it's muddier and muddier, and you're sort of squelching. You have to lift your foot out a little bit.
This is going to slow us down considerably.
So basically, as you get down to water level, you look down, and from where you can see right now, and sort of on like the left and the right of the hill, the water looks to be like a foot or two deep. In the centre, it gets to about, estimating probably like 4 or 5 feet, but that's where the walkway extends to and seems to snake towards the closest hill.
Okay. After you. I'm not sure which way you want to go.
Are you wading through the water to the sides, or are you heading straight through?
I think we should head to the next hill as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I agree.
We're not going to see much from
Ourselves
down
out
here.
for this one. Yeah.
Okay. You step onto the bridge and it creaks and it's a little bit slippery. There's a lot of like moss and like algae build up on it, but it seems to be in pretty good condition. And you walk off on the bridge. And
Does it seem strong enough to hold all of us?
At the
yeah.
same time.
You put pressure on it and like it creaks, but looking at the actual planks themselves, they're a couple of inches thick.
Mm.
And yeah, you don't feel like it'll break under your weight. Okay.
It's incredibly different from the last place we were. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this.
No?
What sort of places have you seen?
I'm from a forest area, and I came down from there, from near Riven.
Hmm.
So we travelled. I travelled down from there. So I've only really seen mountains and fields and forests. Nothing like this.
Just on your own?
Mm-hmm.
How come you're traveling all on your own?
Just trying to see the world and find places. See what it's about.
Yeah, I get that.
What's everyone's passive perception?
Mine's
14.
13.
15.
13.
12.
Okay.
Where
Last
is that? Ah, 14.
you'll hear, and as you're about 50, 60 meters out on the walkway, you hear unmistakable sound of something moving under the water, under the bridge that you're at.
There's a fish here.
Try and see what it is.
Yeah, I would also like
Do you
to
lean
look.
over? What do you look like to the planks?
I would like to just have a little
Yeah, just a little peek over
glance
the edge.
over.
Okay.
I would like to freeze up.
It's murky,
Reaction to fear.
dark water. There are lily pads and algae build up, clouding your view. You look
Must
out.
be fish.
The back. So you're looking over on one side, and behind you, this thunderous crash emerges, and you hear a splash. And you look back, and a chunk of the wood planks has fallen down into the water.
I run.
Which way? Toward the hill or the other way?
Well, the way that we're going.
The way that you're going.
Yeah.
Okay. You hear, and in front of you, about 15 feet ahead, this green curled claw just sinks into the bridge from underneath. This black oozing claw raking a gouge in it from the other side as well. And one section of the bridge, 2 whole planks, just crumble and fall into the water. This head emerges, lank black hair just dripping in slime and viscera. And this head, colossal in its features, green hooked nose, green skin which is just bubbling and dripping in pus and boils. These baleful yellow eyes just staring out under these half slits.
Pull out my wand.
I draw my sword.
Not today!
And that's all I'm doing.
Well done, everyone.
What is it?
Slimy.
And that's where we'll end tonight. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you again soon.
Rick!
Hello everyone, Renard here. Just wanted to say thank you for joining us on the start of our adventure across Caldera. There's still time to become part of the story over on our Indiegogo crowdfunding campaign if you want to, just like the wonderful Stacy Maynard, who designed the Chamomile Clove herbalist shop we visited in Genix Village. Thank you, Stacy. Thank you also to our executive producers, Alexandra Johnson, Liam Moran, Caitlin Ferguson and Emily Hogarth, and to our top backers, Jasmine Muse, Kimmy Gaither, Sarai Lopez, Hayley Wheeler, Cy DeVilliers, and Simona Forster. Your coin will carry us far. Until next time, keep on fighting the good fight. We'll see you in 2 weeks.